4K TVs inside and on our all-weather patio. Stick around for late-night buy-one, get-one half-off appetizers from 9 to 11 at The Dugout, 1413 Kelly Road, Apex.
I am here with Patrick Day of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I'm on your website. Gutter helmets right on the front of the website. Do you have a gutter helmet to fit my head? I have a small head.
We have a gutter helmet for every head, Adam. So anyhow, if you give us a call, we'll come out and take a look at your windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, and of course we can do the gutter helmet. We have financing programs that are really good. So we have like 12 months with zero payments for 12 months. You don't have to pay anything. So if you're thinking about home improvements and you're thinking you're saving up for it, just come on and see us and we'll go ahead and get you set up and get your project done and you can pay in 12 months from now.
I feel like you're speaking directly to me. If it's for the exterior of your home, there is no better place than the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online, aluminumcompany.com. Siding, roofing, windows, entry doors, storm doors, and the world-famous gutter helmets. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 1-800-672-4348.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Kids across America are going to school hungry every day. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-511-4545. That's 800-511-4545.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Weather. I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It is just not warming up very fast out there. Lots of sunshine, but breezy. Winds gusting up to 20-25 miles per hour. A high of only 46 degrees. You're going to need to stay bundled up all through the afternoon. And we do drop back to freezing overnight tonight, but a nice warm up tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 62.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 552 points to 47,921.
There's a cross for Aho. He scores! On the power play! Sebastian Aho! Svechnikov, he'll go back across. Jefferson scores! Keep it one shot, they'll score! Sean Walker continues putting up points for Carolina. Off the end for Stankoven, setting it out for Blake Hall with the loose change, and he scores! Taylor Hall! Chance Miller, hands up, Stankoven scores! And Logan Stankoven's second point of the game.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Happy Veterans Day. We'll be giving those thank yous and gratitudes out throughout the show to those that allow us to care so much about sports because they're dealing with the real important stuff, the veterans out there. Appreciate you. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. It is not just Veterans Day, although that is an important part of today. It is also a hockey night in Carolina. You can hear that right here on 99.9 The Fan. Home game against Washington. And if you've been listening to the show, you probably have a good idea that that's where we're going to start for the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Canes play tonight. 7 o'clock puck drop versus Washington. Now, we should get the nuts and bolts out of the way, right? The tangible updates. It does appear as if Shane Gostisbehere back in the lineup.
Let's go.
Now, actually, hold that applause, Dennis.
Oh, okay.
We have welcomed Shane Gostisbehere back to the lineup once already this season. And I don't even think – did he make it to the third period of that game?
He played the first period. That was it.
Didn't
even get to the second.
Didn't even make it to the second period. So we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, if you're superstitious, do whatever you got to do with rabbit's foots and horseshoes and things. Hopefully this is a return for real from Shane Gostisbehere because, well, it became a little bit more important when Charles Alexis Legault ends up with the injury last game, had his hand sliced open on a skate. As far as tangible updates on that, Charles Alexis Legault had surgery on Monday, that's yesterday, this coming from the team, to repair multiple torn extensor tendons on his right hand. He's been placed on injured reserve. He is expected to miss 3 to 4 months. That's how it's going for the Carolina Hurricanes on the blue line. You bring in a guy to replace other guys, and now he's hurt, and he's going to miss time. And hopefully the guys that he was brought in to replace can get healthy enough in time that you don't have to go too deep into your reserves. But, again, I've said it time and time and time again. Hopefully the adversity stops, but I like the way this team reacts to adversity. So if that means Sean Walker, Alexander Nikishin, if that means they have to play more minutes, I'm sure they'll find a way to do so. If that means Shane Gostisbehere doesn't get to be eased back into the lineup, it means he has to go, fully all the way into the deep end, I think he'll find a way. Not to mention at morning skate, he was skating with the first power play unit, so kind of being thrown into the deep end is exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah, officially activated off IR. I think all signs are pointing to him playing tonight.
Rod Brindamore spoke to the media. This is what he had to say about having an experienced player like Shane Gostisbehere possibly back.
Well, we need it. With all the injuries we have, we got to have guys that certainly know how to play and play at a high level. So that, obviously he's been out for a long time. I mean, he came back for a little bit, but not really. So he's going to probably need some time to get up to where he was, but he was certainly playing at a high level at the start of the season.
He's going to have to take some time to get back to where he was. Well, where was he? Rod Brindamore was asked where Ghost had been doing so well before the injury.
We know he's an offensive-minded player, but I actually thought he was playing really well away from the puck, and that was actually what I thought was a massive, not improvement, but that was the biggest part of his game that was standing out. So hopefully, like I said, he picks up where he left off.
I agree. Hopefully he picks up where he left off. Who knows how realistic that is. When you play Washington, you do know certain things are going to be in effect. One of them is Alexander Ovechkin and Tom Wilson and the history and everything else that these two programs have going on between them. And all the experience in the world that you can have is pretty darn good. And it's not like you're done with the rookies, by the way. Nikishin, he's not going anywhere. Nystrom, still expected to be in the lineup. Like you're not in the clear. Although I would say the forwards are pretty much back.
No, yeah, they are. They're all back.
Which that's at least a sight for sore eyes. Still, a couple guys need to return in order for the blue line to stay the same. That's number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
Duke men's basketball at Army today. They are playing at Army, at West Point on Veterans Day. Duke doesn't play around with their non-conference schedule. Everything is intentional. And this isn't a disrespect to other teams. There's ways to do it. There's ways that other teams can have success. Some teams like to micromanage. Some teams like to focus on the big picture. Duke, nothing goes by without being thought about. It reminds me of like going to just because I did this recently with my son, it reminds me of like going to Disney World, where like you're just sitting in line and all of a sudden there's something cool happening, or you're walking and there's some cool experience that you didn't notice, or the guy that was cleaning the trash cans came around, and all of a sudden he was using water to draw Mickey Mouse's face on the ground on like a hot day. And it's just like, oh, they've thought of every detail. That's Duke to me. All right, you know what? Let's get a non-conference game. Let's play against Army. You know what? Let's play against Army at Army, so it's a cool experience for the players. You know what? Let's play against Army at Army on Veterans Day. They don't let anything go by, right? Another team, to stay with the theme park analogy, another team might be more like Six Flags or Universal or whatever, right? They don't care as much about the details. They want the fastest roller coaster in the world, right? They want the most loops, the most G-forces, right? And you know, the details, we're knocking your socks off in another way. That's a way another team can do it, right? Duke, they focus on every little detail. So at Army on Veterans Day, it's a cool experience for the players. I'm sure John Shire, the head coach, will look at it and say it's another opportunity for them to work on the things they need to work on. Right? Be respectful, thankful, enjoy the experience. Once the ref throws the ball up and we're playing basketball, I still think that team needs to find out their personality. I mean, they have talent, right? When you recruit the way that Duke recruits, they're always going to have talent. And they'll be able to beat a lot of teams on talent alone. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, you're playing another great team, postseason, ACC play, whatever. I think they aren't sure what their personality is, and that's, are they fiery? Are they loosey-goosey? Are they trash-talking? Are they like what is your vibe? Once they figure that out, I think they'll be able to continue to grow. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Another men's basketball game tonight, Radford in Chapel Hill. Radford at UNC. There's a few things going into this one. First of all, it's I don't want to act like it's really hard to talk about injuries without talking about them like the person is like passed away. Life without Seth Trimble. He'll be on the bench. He's just hurt. He broke his arm. But it is playing without Seth Trimble. Seth Trimble being their senior leader, their captain, their most experienced Tar Heel. You know what? I'm going to mesh some of the things we've been talking about all week. It's kind of Canes-like, meaning he is really important. You wish he didn't get hurt. But if he comes back, 6-8 weeks, I don't know how long it's going to take him to come back. But if he comes back and you're on the other side and you've played well and other players have grown into leadership positions and other players are more comfortable on ball or defending the best player on the perimeter, and then you bring a healthy Seth Trimble into that, you could end up better for it, right? Could be one of those things at the end of the year when you go, it was a blessing in disguise. Right, we had to have different players guard different guys. We had to have different players fill roles. Then when Seth Trimble came back, everybody was more versatile. But you have to go through this part to get to that part. You know what I mean? You have to go through the growing pains. And I don't know if it's Luka Bogovac playing a different role. It might be Dixon off the bench playing a different role. It might be Caleb Wilson playing more 3 than 4. There's a lot of different ways you can work it around. Kyan Evans might have to be a more enthusiastic defender. Who knows? But Seth Trimble breaks his arm. Bummer. And then you got to turn – I'm going to mix another story in. You got to turn into Dave Canales, the head coach of the Panthers, right? You go straight from this stinks to what an opportunity for us to explore the other parts of our game and replace the production that Seth Trimble brought.
I feel great about playing basketball right now.
I feel great about playing basketball right now. Seth Trimble, it's a miss. They're going to miss him, might be the better way to say it. But if you make it out on the other side, I think they could be better for it. If all the new guys gel together in a really cool way while Seth Trimble is out, without leaning on Seth Trimble as much, because there is a anytime you have the veteran player, there is obviously an inclination to be, all right, they're going to bring us out of this. Or, all right, they're going to do the leadership. They're going to be the ones talking at free throws when we huddle up. They're going to be the one doing all that. If you kind of force people out of their comfort zone, might end up something decent. Radford's not the scariest team in the world. They do have a nice little basketball program. They care about it in Radford. I've covered Radford a little bit in my career. So don't take them for granted. But if UNC plays UNC basketball, they should win by a bunch. Caleb Wilson obviously going to try to continue his breakout campaign. Would be surprised to see him score less than 20. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big Three at 3. Coming up next, Canes, Washington. Tonight, how much do the injuries affect things, and what can you look for when they take on Washington at home this evening at 7 o'clock, which you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll dive into it next.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately. Nope, sticking to our go-to places. You mean like Sharky's? Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3. You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection. And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it. Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other? Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Raleigh Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Off the inboard, Stankoven setting it out for Blake. Hall with the loose change, and he scores! Taylor Hall gets a bounce at the side of the net. We're tied at 4 in Toronto.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, on a hockey night in Carolina. Canes taking on Washington tonight at home. 7 o'clock puck drop. Injuries have been a big part of the story for the Canes thus far this season. I think it was Bleacher Report, did I think it was one-word like summaries of each NHL team's season, and the word they chose for Carolina was ouchie.
That makes sense.
And it was like, you know what? I feel like you're being a little rascal, but I kind of agree with what you're saying there, which is both true and also not true, okay? And come with me on this journey. But first, the latest injury that adds to the ouchies is Charles Alexis Legault, one of their young guys, rookie, called up due to other injuries, ends up playing a good amount in their most recent game, took a skate to the hand, ended up slicing some things, some tendons and whatnot, had surgery. He's out 3 to 4 months. The surgery was yesterday. Here's Rod Brindamore discussing the injury to his rookie defenseman.
For him, I hate it because he was, really starting to find his groove with at this level. Hopefully, he'll heal and be good to go. But it's obviously a long-term injury, so tough one to swallow. But it is what it is.
Tough one to swallow, but is what it is. We'll take 30 seconds here to build off of what Rod said at the beginning. As fans, we do often treat players like they're, stats on a page. Like it's a human, right? And that stinks because he got to the NHL, which is obviously the goal of every hockey prospect, and was settling in and playing well and had his first goal and first point over the weekend, right? There were some really cool moments for him, and I'm sure he couldn't help but have those, like, I'm good enough, like those feelings, right? Like, you never know until you get there, as confident as you are, like, I belong. And then to have this injury pop up right when it did, that's brutal. So he's dealing with that. I'm sure his family's dealing with that. I'm sure those close to him are bummed for him. So we'll give ourselves some time to be bummed for the human. time's up. Now it's about what the team can do in his stead, right? And obviously Shane Gostisbehere being activated off IR, it appears like he's going to play today based on where he was at morning skate. That helps. You would hope guys like Jalen Chatfield won't be too much longer, and that helps. And then there's the injuries are the story, and then there's the other story. Injuries, big part, okay? You missed that many games from that many defensemen. How many defensemen have they played this year? Like 12? Feels like for every
10?
spot they've played 2.
10?
10. So, I mean, that's another example where if I'm going to exaggerate, I have to go way further because 12, I was trying to exaggerate, and it's almost kind of right. 10 blue liners, and they have another called up, and who knows, right?
Yeah, Bayruther.
It could be the 11th if something crazy happens. Gosh forbid something crazy happens. But with half the story being the injuries, the other half are the guys that are stepping up. I don't want to overlook, because we're just constantly talking about who's available and who's not available. I don't want to overlook what Sean Walker and Alexander Nikishin have been doing as defensemen. And I don't want to only phrase or only evaluate what they've been doing as defensemen through the lens of, that's pretty good based on what they're filling in for. That's pretty good based on the fact that they're playing without Gostisbehere and Slavin, and Miller was out, and Chatfield's out, and now rookies are missing time. I don't want to phrase it that way, because guess what? If Jacob Slavin had played every game, if Keandre Miller missed no time, if Gostisbehere in every game was quarterback in their first power play unit, what Sean Walker and Alexander Nikishin have been doing is still really impressive. And there's statistics to back it up, right? Sean Walker, the minutes he's been playing, the effectiveness he's had, the goals he's been scoring that are way above what you'd expect from Sean Walker. Alexander Nikishin is amongst the league leaders in plus-minus right now. Not like plus-minus for rookies, not like he's amongst the league leaders in time on ice winning. And that's impressive regardless. Right? That, yes, are they scrambling and covering for other guys that are hurt? Dennis, you brought it up a couple times after talking with Walker over the weekend that sometimes you're like hopping over the edge to go onto the ice, and you're, who's with me? Right? They're looking around.
Yeah, for real. It's like, it's you and I this time? All right, I think I'm on the left.
Yeah, exactly. That is happening, so we talk about that because it's such a big part of the story. But also there are some guys just playing well. Right? Also, there are some guys that, regardless of situation, are just playing well. And obviously that applies to the forwards as well. I do think, right, when Jarvis was on a heater earlier, when Aho goes on a streak, Ehlers is on a streak of playing pretty well right now. Jackson Blake is on a streak of playing pretty well. Like, I do think they get talked about more appropriately because they haven't been dealing with as many injuries up there. Back on the blue line, it seems like, when we're talking about how effective they've been, it's almost like a sixth grader playing with the high schoolers. He's doing pretty well for a sixth grader. And then you look at the stats. It's like, no, 18-8 is good enough for, I'm talking like a basketball player playing up. Like 18-8 is good enough for a junior, right? He's just playing well. Like Alexander Nikishin, he's playing pretty well dealing with all those injuries they've had on the blue line. It's like, or, hear me out, you just stop the sentence after he's playing pretty well. Because I want that to be part of the story as well. Because I don't want, because this is what I've been talking about. And I talked about it with UNC basketball. I don't want, when the guys get healthy, to have Walker, Nikishin, and these guys that have been covering for everybody to go, oh, thank goodness. Now you guys can do it. I want everybody playing great. I want Slavin back playing Slavin hockey. I want Nikishin playing how he's been playing. I want that Slavin-Walker combo to be unreal, right? Because if you put those guys defensively with this new scoring Walker, watch the heck out. And then you got to mix in, some good goaltender play. The forwards do have to do what they're doing, and you got to keep winning.
I feel like on the blue line, it's just been a constant state of adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Especially even when guys do come back. Now I have to adjust back to you. I think this is probably the first time that Ghost and Nikishin have paired up in about 9 games, something like that. It was definitely early on the road trip, so maybe even being in the last 10 games. So Nikishin has to get used to playing probably with Gostisbehere again, even though he's been playing with Sean Walker a bunch lately or been with Joel Nystrom. Or just it's been constantly changing and adjusting. There hasn't been any continuity over there. And I think when they actually finally do get their stable of guys back, it's going to take some more time to adjust. Because guys like Gostisbehere has to get back adjusted to playing in the flow of a game.
And along the lines of what I've been talking about, like Nikishin's leveled up a few times since Gostisbehere has been playing, right? And their dynamic may have changed. Gostisbehere didn't get to grow up slowly because of all the injuries. So last time Gostisbehere and Nikishin skated together, it might have been, all right, Gostisbehere, you're the lead, I'll follow. And now it's a little bit of, I think I kind of know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
This is more of a partnership rather than me following everything you say, because I've been doing this for 10 games and doing pretty well. So there's a constant ever-changing dynamic. You just hope that, Gostisbehere didn't go live in a dark room and not be like, you got to be around everybody. That's where the culture comes from, the communication comes from. But no, there's definitely going to be adjustments to the adjustments and everything when guys come back.
Especially, like you mentioned, Nikishin, because he's learned so much and been thrown into so many different situations that he's grown up right in front of our eyes, game by game. And he's grown up without Gostisbehere, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So it's just, anyway, so like Gostisbehere has to adjust to like, okay, last time I played with you, you're not that same player now. For the Gostisbehere who looks at Nikishin, Nikishin's not that same player, and it's in a good way. It's just, don't be surprised if we might see like a couple missed passes tonight and things along those lines. Just guys getting used to each other again.
And not to mention that, Nystrom. Different player now than he was, what's the Kevin Costner draft day, right? We live in a different world than we did even 30 seconds ago.
That's true.
Like 30 minutes of ice time can be a lifetime as far as figuring out your where you stand on the ice in the NHL. I do want to point out when it comes to the forwards, we mentioned it, Ehlers on a bit of a heater as far as creation. You'd love to see that continue. We have first goal scorer predictions coming up in about an hour at 4:33. We will open up the call-in lines, let some of you make on-air predictions, but you can always jump on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. I have the tweet out there asking for first goal scorer predictions. You can also jump in our YouTube comments, live stream, 99.9 The Fan. Who scores the first goal, and in what period do they score it? Do you score it? That'd be nice if we could all score. Who scores the first goal for the Canes, and in what period did they score it? And as usual, I will look at the big picture and try to make some deductions about who the fan base is most confident in. This all started as just a prediction game, and I can't help but overlook or overthink things. And now it's like, all right, the fan base high on Nikishin today, or all right, look at this, Ehlers, broke the seal on the goal a couple games ago. Now everybody's all in. I'll let you know kind of what the fan base is thinking about the Canes scoring chances early in the game. For a little insight, Sebastian Aho did open the scoring for the Canes in each of the last 2 games. So if you want to go chalk, Aho's probably a pretty good one. If you want to guess the last goal scorer of the game, Seth Jarvis is a good one, right? He's, I think, leading the league, tied for the league lead in game-winning goals, and also has a couple of empty netters and everything. So his scoring might skew later in the game. Aho's maybe a little bit earlier. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. I have a chronograph on right now, meaning my watch. Chronographs, they're racing watches, right? They can time multiple things. It is exactly the complication of a watch face that you see when astronauts wear them on the moon. And when astronauts wear them on the moon, what brand, what model are they wearing? It's the Omega Speedmaster, a.k.a. the Moon Watch, a.k.a. the Speedmaster Professional Moon Watch. It's one of the most iconic watches in the history of watchmaking, and you can find a bunch of different varieties, different colors, different metals, right? You can go with the platinum, you can go with the rose gold, you can go with the more traditional steel or titanium, you can go with the open back. It's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in their Village District location, where they have the largest of its kind shop within a shop dedicated strictly to Omega. And it's not just the Speedmaster. You can get the Seamaster, which you've seen on the wrist of many of your favorite movie spies. Yes, that one you're thinking of. You can grab a Constellation or a DeVille, something a little bit more dressy. There's a bunch of different options, and they all are absolutely awesome looking. One of my favorite brands. Omega at the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in their Village District location. Stop by, check them out, try them on. You will feel more powerful. And let them know you heard about it right here from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have the Dean's List. Who makes their way in the college sports world to getting a few extra accolades? Stick around.
Waking up, getting ready, sitting in traffic. Let's face it, getting to work in the morning is a lot of work. But when you get a great deal on your favorite McDonald's coffee, becoming a morning person is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now get any size refreshingly cold iced coffee for $1, a delicious mocha for $2, and a frappe for $3. Available only during breakfast hours. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Genie log, day 15,824. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $900 million now. I'll be stuck in this little land forever with nothing but all this stupid gold and rare gems. A gold-plated motorcycle? Sure does a lot of good when you live in a 10x10 magic lamp. Come find me. I'm at latitude 36.06.
Grant your own wishes. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $900 million. Must be 18 to play. Approximate jackpot odds are 1 in 291 million. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. A house with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds and make all your dreams of a fence come true. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Think Santa's got a mixed bag of treats? Soundstation and Security may have him beat. Soundstation and Security has a huge variety of gift ideas for everything audio and automotive. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels, and tires. We even offer full vehicle service, alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. These are great, unique gift ideas. Plus, Soundstation and Security has a variety of financing options. Downtown Smithfield or on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. And online at myhotsound.com.
What does it mean to win this award to you? It means a lot to me, just being recognized for all my hard work on and off the court.
The Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month from 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union. To nominate your athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Off the back iron, Wilson comes soaring in to dunk it home.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we dive into the Dean's List, and we have some good ones. It's a good time of year for college sports. Rip the band right out of there. No more music. Before we dive into the Dean's List, if you missed any part of Kane's Corner last night featuring Nikolai Ehlers, YouTube, 99.9 The Fan app, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. You can check it out. It's really his introduction to Kane's fans, right? Caniacs out there. Granted, he's been playing for a while, but you get to get to know him as a person a little bit. Go into the I found it insightful, the part about him choosing the Canes and taking his time, and obviously at that location, he's 100% always going to say that he made the right choice, but I believed him when he said it. Mike Maniscalco did a really good job with the interview, so you can check that. 99.9 The Fan app or 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Whichever one you go to, subscribe, right? Subscribe to the 99.9 The Fan app, to the 99.9 The Fan channel on YouTube, and make sure you register if you are on the 99.9 The Fan app as well. Are we all there? Are we good? Good. Let's jump into the Dean's List. Got a varied set of Dean's Listers today. I want to start with a former Wake Forest baseball player, Nick Kurtz.
Okay, yeah.
2025 American League Jackie Robinson Rookie of the Year.
Oh, congrats.
He won Rookie of the Year. And I want to make this point about Nick Kurtz.
Who is he playing for? He played for the Athletics,
the
correct?
A's, right? There's a lot of talk. He went 6 for 6 with like 4 home runs in a game. Just had literally, statistically, non-Shohei division, one of the best games in the history of baseball. statistically, total bases, RBIs, all that kind of stuff. Like in the history of baseball, one of the best games ever. And that's all anybody wanted to talk about because I saw that he was the Rookie of the Year, and I was like, oh, let's see what people are saying. Searched his name, and everyone was just, Rookie of the Year, remember this great game? Rookie of the Year, he had this crazy game. He was a rookie. He hit .290 with 36 home runs. Let's not act like that's one good day. You take away the 4 homers, you take away the 6 hits. It's a really good season regardless, right? You're hitting 30-plus homers. Your first taste of big league pitching is pretty darn good. And he didn't spend a lot of time in the minors. I think it was like half a season, if that, a month in the minors before jumping up to the A's. A's didn't have a great season. Nick Kurtz, great season. Shout out to Wake Forest baseball. More Dean's Listers. Kamori House, UNC linebacker.
Yeah, I saw this.
He was named ACC Football Linebacker of the Week.
That's right.
13 tackles, 8 of them solo, which is pretty impressive. And an interception in their win over Stanford.
Okay.
Don't say we didn't warn you. After the Cal loss, the Virginia loss, it became obvious that something was cooking on UNC's defensive side of the ball. Last 2 weeks, they've shown it. Kamori House, a big part of that. Now we're hearing Thaddeus Dixon is day-to-day and might be returning soon. He's probably their best pro prospect on defense.
Yeah.
Or at least was when he got hurt a handful of weeks ago. I wouldn't want to be an offense facing UNC. I don't know how might be a little excited if I were defense facing UNC, but that's a different story. Dennis, do you have any Dean's Listers you like to throw out here?
I do have one to throw on there. I'm actually going to throw on Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K. So obviously a veteran of West Point, attended Army and all that, but also with Duke playing at Army today in basketball, Coach K is actually going to be honored pregame in a ceremony, a little joint thing between both teams, both programs. So Coach K getting honored up at West Point today.
It is cool seeing that kind of stuff. Obviously, on Veterans Day, Army brings a different whole section to it, but it's similar to Kansas playing at Chapel Hill with the connections with Dean Smith and Roy Williams, and now you have Army, obviously connections to Coach K, Duke connections, all kinds of connections to Coach K. I like the embracing of storylines and things like that. It's good. More Dean's Listers. Of course, we have more Dean's Listers. Speaking of Duke basketball, I think we haven't talked about it enough. Con Knippel. Kind of lighting it up for the Hornets. Yeah, kind of lighting it up for the Hornets. First player in NBA history, as I look at my notes here. NBA history is a long time. They've had some good players. I don't know if you've heard, all of the greats. First player in NBA history to score 150 points and total 150 or more points and total at least 33s in his first 10 career games.
Wow.
That's A, impressive by him. B, the team has dealt with some injuries, so he's been forced into a more prominent role. But also, it's got to be so comforting because, listen, Con Knippel was really good from the jump at Duke. But when you have a player that plays his style, right, he's not really dunking on people, right? He doesn't have the quickest feet in the world. It's almost like just getting it out of the way that your athleticism is good enough to play NBA basketball is now you just get to focus on doing you, right? Now it's just getting to your spots, playing your game. Like, you're good enough, right? You're physically talented enough to play in the NBA. Now just work on getting better. He answered that question very, very quick for somebody who, he was drafted around VJ Edgecombe, who we got to see play for Baylor right here in the NCAA tournament. VJ Edgecombe is he could have been a number 1 wide receiver. He could have been a basketball. He probably could triple jump. He is a twitchy athlete, and you just knew that would translate.
Springy.
Yeah. Con Knippel, it's he's going to have to get by with some different things. Turns out he's thriving with some different things and doing well. So shout out to Con Knippel and then the connection he has here to the Triangle.
1 assist shy of a triple-double yesterday.
That works. That's good. That's good business. And Duke fans were saying, and there's 17 more Knippels where that came from.
Yeah, they got a whole starting lineup on the way.
Got a whole bunch of brothers. One of them's like a big recruit now. More Dean's List, flipping sides to the other side of a rivalry. Caleb Wilson.
Okay.
UNC freshman 5-star. He was named the ACC Rookie and Player of the Week, so credit to him for that. Also, it just shows the sway he has. He was part of the announcement for a blue out tonight versus Radford.
Okay.
So for those of you that
he has some influence,
that didn't know, he just decided as a freshman playing in his second career game that the game against Kansas was going to be a whiteout. And he tweeted it out. I guess there were some suggestions made by someone, and he was like, all right, and he tweeted out whiteout. School didn't know about it. School didn't embrace it right away. But the fans spoke loudly to say, we listened to Caleb, and turned into a whiteout. Became a thing. They beat Kansas. He played great. So now part of the official announcement of a blue out for tonight's game against Radford, they used him to announce it. So now it's like a bit. It's a thing. That's how important he is to the program.
See, this is where you guys start getting like fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like we said, like I think it was last week before that game. Do a, neon night.
Yeah, exactly.
Or neon night.
Animal print night.
Something.
Toga night. Do it like high school. High school student sections used to always do that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. We did that all the time.
It's always ridiculous. You walk into like an away football stadium, and it's like, why are they all dressed like Poseidon or something? It's like they all have pitchforks and
barn animals.
Yeah, what is going on here?
Lean into it. Have fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, he's ACC Rookie and Player of the Week, so it's not like he got distracted by what deciding what the fans were going to wear. And Radford is a fun game, so we'll see how it goes. Last one of the Dean's List for me, NC State football. We talk a lot about how business is important now in college sports. Just saw this tweet right before we came on air. NC State versus UNC, their end of the season game, is officially a sellout, marking 27 consecutive sellouts for NC State football home games, dating back to September 17th, 2022.
Wow.
That's good for business.
Absolutely.
That's good for business, which means more ticket prices, more concessions, more money to give to revenue share, more money to give to players and coaches and front office staff. It's truly becoming more of that, where you need to operate like a pretty solid business. Empty seats aren't making you any money unless you have I think Texas Tech has one. Stanford just got a check for $50 million from one booster. Unless you have just a billionaire who's a bottomless checkbook for you, you got to run your team in a different way than you used to, and sellouts, I have to imagine, are pretty darn important. Hopefully that doesn't mean ticket prices are going up. Right? You got to find that equilibrium, but I don't know enough about
that's
business
another
to get
conversation for another time that we definitely should be having.
That's less fun. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Dean's List is about positive accolades, praise. We don't need to get into the, by the way, start saving now for future games. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Up next, we have the podium of the 4 teams in the ACC from the state of North Carolina. When mixing now, we are in the crossover season. Football and men's basketball. Who had the best week? They get the gold medal. Next best, silver. Next, bronze. And, of course, someone has to be off the podium. We get to the podium next. Stick around.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Copeland jabs on him a couple of times. Step back three-pointer, left corner, swish.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are officially in crossover season for college football and men's basketball. What that means is our podium takes on a little bit of a different flavor. Up to this point, it's all been football, right? So 1 week awards, which is what our podium is, basically become how well did your football team play this past week. Now we add in basketball, right? So a big win in basketball, it becomes a little bit more difficult when judging, right? How much does a big win in basketball overcome a loss in football? Vice versa. What about an underwhelming win, right? So it becomes more more subjective, and we do our best to iron out all the details. And because of that, we are now prepared to enter the podium. 4 teams from the state of North Carolina play in the ACC. Who gets the gold for the last week, the silver, the bronze, and whose last week's worth of performance lands them off the podium. As always, we start with off the podium. Goes to NC State. State had a bye in football, so, kind of neither here nor there. They did win their basketball game, since the only one that they've played since our show last Tuesday. They beat UAB 94-70. That's about where that's the minimum for not being kind of upset, right? If it's a single digit game against UAB, you're kind of upset by it. You win by 20 something, it's pretty good. You didn't win by 40, but it's right there. Honestly, there are some weeks where if you only had one basketball win and it was a 20-something point win over an overmatched opponent, you'd be on the podium. But I think for the most part, the other teams all had a crown jewel, something sturdier to stand on when making their argument. So for this week, off the podium, NC State. Bronze goes to Duke. And I have to admit, this one was tough. Football lost to UConn, and I take off a decent amount of points if we're doing a point system for that loss. Right? I think they had a lot to look forward to, and they still do as a Duke football team, because if they win out, they still, I believe, control their destiny to the ACC championship. But, as far as being ranked in the CFP rankings, as far as continuing to build momentum, as far as announcing yourself on a public scale, a national scale, you can't drop the game on the road at UConn 37-34.
Yeah, too many turnovers again.
You lost turnover battle 3-0. You lost by 3 points.
Yep.
That means you outplayed them and still lost.
Yep.
Because if you lose the turnover battle by 3, you should lose by more than 3 points. But their basketball team bailed them out a little bit, partially because the Texas game was on Tuesday rather than Monday. If it was on Monday, when most of the rest of meaning last Tuesday rather than last Monday, if it was on Monday like the rest of the ACC played, 15 of the teams opened on Monday, it wouldn't have counted towards this week. But because it was played on Tuesday, it does. So they get the Texas win by 15 in Charlotte, neutral ish court. Dominated the second half. They got the win, and then they beat Western Carolina by 40. That one does less for me. But beating Texas, that's a good program, right? They've got players. Upped it just enough to get on the podium. Squeaked on in bronze, in my book. Now we have two teams that both did some things. We have two teams for the silver and gold that both, I think, have legitimate claims to gold. So we'll reveal silver first. This is like a Miss America pageant where you announce the runner-up and then everybody knows who won. Silver goes to Wake Forest. Their men's basketball team beat Morehead State, 81-65. That's a good win. It's not a blowout win. Nothing to be worried about, but you're not getting a ton of points up or down for that one. Their football team, however, beat the 14th ranked team in the country in Virginia, 16-9. Wake Forest has a...
Like I said, on the road.
And yeah, true. Wake Forest has... They can muddy up a game, man. Like,
they'll keep it close.
16-9 is like... You've done that a few times. The only reason why I didn't jump them to UNC is I think Virginia's offense specifically has shown some cracks in their foundation the last month. It wasn't that long ago they were leading the ACC in points per game, and everybody was really impressed. Chandler Morris was kind of this it transfer that everybody, look at all these teams that passed on Chandler Morris. They've come back down to earth in a big way. So because of that, I think maybe the 14th team in the country may have been a little high. They've been doing some Houdini escapes recently. But either way, it's a big win for Wake. Obviously, he's big in their season-long rankings or season-long record. But it just because Virginia was a little bit less than I think their reputation said they should be, a month ago, it just kept them away from gold just a little bit. Does not take away anything from Jake Dickert, their coach. I think what he's been able to do in his first year at Wake Forest is pretty darn impressive, just as far as being competitive in darn near every game.
Might be ACC Coach of the Year.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how it finishes out, but would not be surprised at all. And that leaves gold. Was not expecting to say this. UNC. I've been eyeing their basketball team, but football team had to keep pace in order to make gold. They beat Stanford 20-15. Their defense looked like the real deal. I know 20-15 doesn't seem, but they were in control of it. They bottled up Stanford for most of the game. 20-15. It's a win. It's a win. It's a win. And I think I told this yesterday, but I was doing some national radio, and people not in our market are starting to turn. They're starting to hit you with the I told you so's, right? Everybody else wanted to bash Belichick, but I knew, and he didn't forget how to coach. I'm going like, I didn't hear that from any direction when things were going bad.
No, you didn't.
But if you want to say that you were the only one saying it, go right ahead. But that's what happens when you start playing well. People start to, ignore what they thought and felt and said weeks ago so they can pretend that they thought and felt and said all the right things. UNC, people are starting to hit you with some I told you so's across the country, which is good. But the real crown jewel for UNC was the win over Kansas in the men's basketball side of things. It's a top 25 win. It's a top 25 win. Kansas was ranked 19th. They came into Chapel Hill. It was a cool environment, a lot of ceremony, and at halftime it wasn't in a runaway, right? Like it was a game. They were in a dogfight. And to win by 13 and have Caleb Wilson kind of announce himself as one of the top freshmen in the country, even though he shouldn't have had to, he did anyway. That's a big step forward. Now, you have to continue to back it up. But, I'll say exactly what I said before the Kansas game. There was a feeling, and I don't know if everybody felt it, but I for darn sure felt it, and I put it on record, that UNC knew their team was better than what people were giving it credit for. There was this quiet confidence of like, oh, you don't know? Oh, you don't know? Okay. Now, you'll see. Like, they didn't have to brag, be boastful about it. It was just, you'll see, with a little smirk on their face. That's the vibe I got from UNC. And then to go out against Kansas in the first opportunity to let people see, to get that win in that way with that energy. I think the lasting image for me for UNC men's basketball in the win over Kansas was forcing the backcourt violation with Caleb Wilson kind of being the tip of the spear on the full court press, and then him turning right at midcourt and hitting the big flex as the crowd went wild. And it's a little statement, little announcement going for UNC men's basketball. Like I said, got to continue backing it up. But for right now, that aided in their quest for the gold medal. All right, that's gold medal. Off the podium, NC State, bronze, Duke, silver, Wake, gold going to the Tar Heels this week. We'll do all this all over again next Tuesday. But for right now, Dennis, we need to hit the Gold Star, which is an additional award we give out to a Group of 5 or lower division school in the state of North Carolina. And similarly to the podium, it now includes men's basketball and football, so it is in crossover season. Dennis, who are we giving the Gold Star to? Your microphone is not on.
I got to get better at Big Stretch. Turn my own microphone on.
I was looking down. I was like, wow, he's really building this anticipation. A dramatic pause.
I was.
Then
actually.
I looked up, and you were just going.
You ruined it. You ruined it by pointing out my flaw. So actually, take a look. ECU, for example, had a big win in football over Charlotte. Big win, but you got a loss on the basketball floor. So, all right, so start taking a look around. Well, all right, let's actually just get to the mid-majors that are just basketball. Maybe UNC Greensboro, UNC Asheville, Gardner-Webb. Nah, not great starts to the season for any of those programs. But we take a look down the road to Davidson College. That's right, Davidson. Shout out to the Wildcats. They got a football win this past Saturday against Presbyterian by a score of 14-13. But hey, a win is a win. By the way, those two teams combined for over 400 yards rushing. That game probably took about an hour and 20 minutes, which is, fine by me. We don't get paid by the hour. We get paid by the game. But on the basketball court, men's basketball, at Belk Arena in Davidson, they beat Washington State. Washington State, formerly of the Pac-12. I don't know where they are right now in terms of their conference, but nonetheless, they beat Washington State at home 85-69. Nice performance for Davidson. Shout-outs to the Wildcats. Also, their leading scorer in that game, going to make sure to give a shout-out to... No, of course, of course, it went away on me. Actually, sorry, there it is. Leading scorer in that game was Hunter Adam.
Hunter Adam?
Same thing. Hunter Adam, 14 points. But nonetheless, shout-out to the Wildcats. Your gold star for this week.
I do like that in the Presbyterian-Davidson football game, you highlighted the pretty exemplary rushing totals.
Yes.
Because the teams barely combined for 150 yards passing.
You know what? When you run the ball like that, take lessons.
Hey, the two touchdowns for Davidson came through the air, so not a lot of volume, but some quality mixed in there.
Exactly.
Shout out to the Davidson Wildcats.
Yeah.
Gold star.
They probably looked down the road and they saw the tape of Rico Dowdle against Dallas. Hey, we should try that.
That doesn't matter.
Both teams did.
Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, they've signed veteran quarterback Mike White to the practice squad.
Not surprised by that. Dave Canales did say on Monday that they would bring back either Mike White or Hendon Hooker. White just had to clear waivers.
And if Mike White didn't clear waivers, they probably would have brought back Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
The Hendon Hooker thing is confusing to me.
How so?
I just think they had, Mike White, veteran.
Yeah.
Probably not the guy of the future. You have Andy Dalton for that. Hendon Hooker, there has to be some kind of potential unless his knee just never bounced back from the injury at Tennessee. He was a third-round pick a couple years ago. I just think if I'm pulling on a string that's unlikely to hit lotto, Hendon Hooker sounds intriguing to me. But, I mean, we're just debating whether you'd rather have a 0.02% chance of something striking the lotto or a 0.07% chance of something hitting the lotto. Either would have been a long shot. But Mike White signed back to the practice squad. Again, as I've said every time we've talked about him, if you remember him, it's probably from he had a 2 or 3 game hot streak with the Jets a couple of years ago, including one game where he threw for 400 yards. I think it was a primetime game.
Yeah, it was.
So that's probably what you know him from, and he'll be the third quarterback behind Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, and now Mike White, signed to the practice squad. That according to David Newton of ESPN, but I'm sure many other beat reporters have it as well. Don't forget, you can visit 999thefan.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see 3 Days Grace with special guests I Prevail and the Funeral Portrait at the Lenovo Center on March 17th. You can also head to our 999 The Fan app. You can register there as well. 999thefan.com or the 999 The Fan app to enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see 3 Days Grace with special guests I Prevail and the Funeral Portrait at the Lenovo Center on March 17th. Speaking of those very same Carolina Panthers, football at 4 is up next. We revisit a conversation from the preseason, the Bryce Young confidence conundrum. Stick around.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters in auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Hey, it's Amanda here, back again with my friend Coach Pete. Coach, you talked about how companies are not giving you a retirement or a pension anymore. I've seen this firsthand with a family member. She worked for a company that they matched her 401k like up to 20%. You never see that anymore. They did so many things, and now it's like you're on your own.
Well, yeah, you are. You're on your own, and companies shifted the burden of retirement from themselves, which they used to give you a pension, to you. So it's no fun to save in that 401k, but if you save now, you have a whole lot more money in the future. And what you do when you have a lump sum in the 401k is you roll it into a place which will give you a growth potential, a protecting that growth. In other words, you won't give it back, no fees, and then it will give you a lifetime income you can't outlive. If you haven't seen this, you really need to. Let's look at what you have put aside, what that could translate to for a lifetime income that will put you in control of retirement. Call now. We'll do one for you. No cost or obligation.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
Catch every single moment. The Dugout Tavern and Grill is an official member of the Canes Bar Network. With the NHL package, we broadcast all available games on the 16-foot high-definition video wall. Soak in the energy on our indoor-outdoor patio and bar, where you can see and hear the games. Plus, enjoy drink specials and a terrific menu. It's like you're on the ice, but better. The Dugout Tavern and Grill, Kelly Road in Apex, and thedugouttavern.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. That wind is biting out there. The wind chill this afternoon keeps us in the low 40s, but our high's only in the mid 40s, so it's definitely a chilly day, the coldest that we've seen so far this season. 32 overnight tonight, but back to 62 tomorrow. We begin that warm up, and highs could climb into the 70s again this weekend.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 559 points today to 47,927.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are about to talk some football because it's football at 4 and we do it every day. But also, we are preparing for first goal scorer predictions, talking Carolina Hurricanes at 4:33 later this hour. So be ready, right? Who's going to score the first goal for the Canes and in what period will they score it? If you haven't done so already, start thinking about it now. If you're watching on YouTube, we are going to bring back something. And if you're not watching on YouTube, I'll describe it for you. We're going to bring back something that we did last year. 2 years ago, maybe. Whew. Bryce Young's been here a lot longer than it seems.
Maybe a little last year, too, but yeah.
It's called the Bryceometer. And the reason why we're bringing back the Bryceometer, it's all about confidence. And it's a conversation that we haven't revisited in a while, but we're going to here. And right now, the confidence level in Bryce, not high, right? It is just barely above rock bottom. If you're looking, it's like a odometer looking scale with the little red arrow pointing almost to like where empty would be on a gas gauge on the dashboard of your car.
Or 0 miles per hour.
Yeah, exactly. With the all the way down where it would normally say empty, it says is cam available, and it's knocking on the door of that.
Mm-hmm. Right in between, no way he's 5'10".
Yeah, no way he's 5'10". If it went all the way to the right, it would have been like all the way full. It would have been Gonna Be Forever Young. There's Bryce of America Stadium. There's That's My Quarterback, and all the way on down. So it's something we did early on in his career, and the reason we did it is because when you do have a young quarterback, a rookie quarterback, it fluctuates aggressively, right? Good game, everybody, they're the best in the world. Bad game, everybody, they stink. It flies back and forth. You would think by year 3 that all this would be settled, but the same thing is happening, right? I'm getting in arguments on both sides. They're coming from all directions, right? After the win against Green Bay, I was critical of some things Bryce Young did, and guess what happens? Everybody's screaming at me about he's a winner. Everybody's screaming at me about he's clutch and it's this and it's that. And then he plays nearly identical football, by the way, in a loss to the Saints. And guess what? Now the world is crashing and everybody hates Bryce. And I'm just simply, throwing a few things out there that, the confidence from the coaching staff towards the player isn't super obvious, and that's going to make it difficult. And they need to do certain things to give their offense a fighting chance, whether they believe in their quarterback or not. And I'm getting trashed the other way about how it's Bryce's fault and all of this. So here's what I want to be clear about the confidence situation. The Bryceometer confidence level that we used to do and have up here as a spot start, it's getting the call up to the bigs for one start, is about like our confidence in Bryce. How confident are we in the player? I still think Bryce is confident in himself. I still think if you talk to some teammates, they're still confident in Bryce. That's not what I think the conversation should center around right now. The confidence that matters right now is from Dave Canales to Bryce. How confident is Dave Canales in Bryce? And simultaneously, I don't think it's confidence going in the other direction. It's probably trust. So it's confidence from Dave Canales to Bryce, and it's trust from Bryce to Dave Canales. That is what I think is, if anything is holding back a team, other than just their ability to play and execute. I think that is a relationship that we should focus in on a little bit at this point in the season. The confidence between Bryce and Canales is shaky. And this is not a new conversation. If you remember, before the season, we do our cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? One of my preseason concerns was nobody was really addressing the fact that relationship had to have taken a hit last year. Bryce Young was benched, right? One of the very first high-profile decisions that Dave Canales made as a head coach was to bench Bryce Young. It was 2 games into his career as a head coach. He benched Bryce. And then Andy Dalton gets in the car accident, thumb injury. Bryce goes back into the starting lineup, and there were some signs of positive, right? They won some games, right? Had a couple games where he threw for a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, and still there was a reluctance to name Bryce Young the quarterback going forward, the starter going forward. It was always, well, we're going to watch the tape and decide. Oh, we're going to check on everything and decide. And then maybe Wednesday we'd hear the news that Bryce Young was going to be the starter again. Maybe I was looking into things too much, but I vividly remember on the show playing some of the locker room speeches that Dave Canales gave to the team. And he was giving out like hoorahs, hip hip hoorays for guys that had a half a sack. And he wasn't mentioning Bryce, who led a game-winning drive or whatever it was. It felt very like, okay, these two aren't on the same page. And then they came back the next year, and everybody just acted like all that was going to go away. And I was just a little leery that you could just sweep that stuff under the rug and pretend like that relationship is going to be all hunky-dory unless they did some real work. And not to say that there weren't signs that they did some work. I remember Dave Canales showed up at Bryce Young's youth camp and brought his kids, and it was like, all right, they're putting some work in, but I wasn't convinced that the relationship was fully mended. And obviously, a sketchy relationship can survive when things are going well. Right after you're winning games, everything can go well. It's when you hit the basement, it's when you're at rock bottom that the strain on those pipes can lead to bursts. That trust is hurting the team. That trust is, or lack of trust and lack of confidence is hurting the team. We've seen it multiple times this year. Bryce Young makes a bad mistake early in a game. This week, it didn't even count, right? He threw a bad interception that got called back on a roughing the passer, and it felt like the entire coaching staff went, not trusting that guy to do anything, not the rest of this game at least. Right? We've seen you make the mistake and everything recoils, which I completely understand, right? If you don't think a player is good enough to execute what you're asking them to do, and then they go out there and make a huge mistake, I get the human nature to say, nope, and not going down that path again. But if you do that, the offense doesn't have a chance. No, like, I'm going to say this, and it might sound ridiculous, but I promise you it is true. Even if they're not complete, you have to test defenses downfield. You want them to be complete. I'm not asking you to intentionally find bad throws or incompletes, but you have to test teams downfield just to show them you're willing to, just to show them it's a possibility. If you don't, it makes it way too difficult to play offense in the NFL. And that is regardless of confidence and trust between coach and player. You have to call the plays. You have to, especially if your running game isn't working at an all-time efficient level. They may have been lulled to sleep a little bit by how well Rico Dowdle was running the ball for the first three starts he was given. Because that's a funhouse mirror. That's La La Land. That's not real life. If you have a running back who everybody knows is going to get the ball 25-plus times and he's running for 6 yards a carry, that's enjoy it, embrace it, because it ain't going to last. Defensive coordinators aren't so dumb to just let you keep doing that. So eventually you're going to have to loosen the defense. Because even a missed connection on a deep ball serves a purpose as far as setting up the next play. As far as setting up the next run if you want it to be a run, or setting up the next underneath pass if you want to have a short pass. And if Dave Canales isn't confident enough in Bryce to do it, fake it. You have to. And if Bryce isn't trusting in Dave Canales enough, right, because the opposite way is true as well. If Dave Canales is drawing up deep balls and Bryce isn't trusting them to work, or isn't trusting them to become open, so he's getting off it quick or finding a check down or doing whatever, that's just as bad. You can severely dislike a person that is in your locker room, coach, player, whatever. Those couple of hours you're on the field playing with each other on a Sunday, you pretend. You fake it. You can not like your receiver. If he runs a 4-3, guess what? You have to chuck him up a deep ball. Got to do what you got to do. Dave Canales was asked, was this Monday? He was asked on Monday if Bryce is confident taking shots downfield in the offense.
Bryce comfortable taking those deep shots?
We'll have to just keep growing as a group and make sure that, we're the time on task, the trust factor, the me to you factor, all those things, grow.
Now, I want to give credit to the reporter. That was
Vashti Hurt, Carolina Blitz.
There you go, Carolina Blitz. Can we play that one more time? And I want everybody to just see if they can gather what the heck Dave Canales was saying. If you couldn't hear Vashti, the question was, is Bryce confident taking those shots downfield? And then Dave's response was this.
Bryce comfortable taking those deep shots?
We'll have to just keep growing as a group and make sure that, we're the time on task, the trust factor, the me to you factor, all those things, grow.
the time on task, the trust factor, the me to you factor grow?
Yeah, the question was a follow-up to the lack of vertical passing and the lack of vertical plays of the offense, and Dave kind of regurgitated himself a little bit.
It's week 10.
Yeah.
Time on task?
The me to you factor?
I don't know what that means. Week 10, you still need time on task to execute what has to be a core part of your offense. Like, it has to be. You can't win in the NFL with everything being 10 yards and in of the line of scrimmage. You can't do it.
Again, the me to you factor, Tim, that's you throwing the ball to the receiver. Or me throwing it to you. That's me to you. Like you said, it's week 10.
It's if it's been ignored, that's an issue. If it hasn't been ignored and you haven't found a way to convince yourself to put it into the offense, that's an issue. And if you don't trust the quarterback to do it, or if the quarterback isn't trusting the play caller to scheme it up, you got to get into a room. You got to be real honest with each other. Right? I'm talking about, like, boxing gloves. Like, I'm only joking, but kind of not, right? They need to be in a room, and they need to hash out whatever differences are leading to their offense not being willing to keep defenses honest. And I think it goes back, this is me now inferring and kind of reading tea leaves and the psychoanalysis of a very, very not expert in psychoanalysis. I think it goes back to last year. I think it goes back to how their relationship started. I think it goes back to, even if their conscious mind is saying, I really respect this guy's work ethic, their subconscious is saying, this guy messed me over last year. Why would I trust him to do any different this time? And until you get to the bottom of that, it just lingers. That's anybody with a relationship, a work relationship, anything. That's simmering iciness, even though you walk in and say, hey, good morning every day. You know what it's like. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And now I'm just going to build off of it. When you are so exactly the same every single day, which Bryce and Dave Canales both are, win, lose, draw, hard practice, easy practice, weather, home game, away game, they are unbelievably constant. It does, I imagine it leads to some, like, do you actually mean it, right? You can't feel the exact same way all of the time. You got to be authentic with each other at some point. Both of them are always saying the right thing, and it's almost robotic. All right, The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Transitioning here, Tim Donnelly for Miller Lending. I got to get in a better, got to be more optimistic, because now I'm not talking about something that I think is an issue. I'm talking about something that I think can help all of you. Miller Lending offers a no-cost loan, and they've been doing it for decades. And what that means is there's no reason not to call Miller Lending, particularly if you have a higher interest rate, right? Something in the 7s that you locked in maybe at the kind of peak of the market, or, gosh forbid, something up near 8. If you have a higher interest rate, there's no reason not to call Miller Lending, because you may go, I know I could refi, get a little bit lower monthly payment, but I'd have to fork over all of this money in closing costs and fees to make it happen. You're wrong. You don't have to. No closing cost loan, no cost loan, no surcharges, no third-party fees. 0 means 0. So if you have that higher monthly payment, if you have that higher mortgage rate than you're hoping for, give them a call. You might be able to get a lower monthly payment with no cost to you. Absolutely no money out of your pocket. That's how I can help you out, and that's why I needed to get in the right mind space to be optimistic, because I'm trying to set you all up with a lower monthly payment. Same mortgage time, all that kind of stuff, just a lower monthly payment. The number to call is 919-447-3377. No money out of your pocket. They've been doing it for decades, and locally owned. So when you call the number, someone in the 919, not just someone with a 919 number. 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, cop or drop, and don't forget, at 4:33, we will open up the phone lines for some first goal scorer predictions, and you'll hear who Dennis and I think will score the first goal for the Canes tonight. Stick around.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Washington.
Off the end board, Stanko and setting it out for Blake. Oh, with the loose change, and he scores!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Stanko and scores! Oh, that's a Hall of Fame goal! What a setup and a monster for number 22. It's 5-4.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. You know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $14,000 off a new 2025 Silverado 1500. Includes trade assistance. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
Waking up, getting ready, sitting in traffic. Let's face it, getting to work in the morning is a lot of work. But when you get a great deal on your favorite McDonald's coffee, becoming a morning person is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now get any size refreshingly cold iced coffee for $1, a delicious mocha for $2, and a frappe for $3. Available only during breakfast hours. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Canes will win the draw. Walker, there's a drive, they score! Nikolai Ehlers! His first goal with the Carolina Hurricanes. It's a power play goal.
Been waiting for that one for quite a while now, but definitely feels nice to get that in today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. First goal score predictions, 4:33. If you haven't done so already, start thinking. Who's going to score the first goal for the Canes tonight against Washington at home? They're taking on the Caps. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. 7 o'clock puck drop on that one. You can also hear it on the 99.9 The Fan app. Before we jump into Copper Drop, a little bit of news here. Not long ago, the Carolina Panthers had Asante Samuel Jr. in for a visit. An interesting kind of late addition to the free agency world because he was rehabbing an injury and had just gotten cleared. I believe it was a neck fusion of some kind.
Spinal.
Spinal. Per Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, he is signing with the Steelers.
Oh, okay.
The first visit he went on was with the Carolina Panthers. Apparently, it wasn't the match. Couldn't both find didn't swipe the right way on the dating app. But the Steelers will be signing former Chargers cornerback Asante Samuel per Jeremy Fowler. The expectation is he will start on the practice squad. But you can elevate so many times. And anyway. So he's not becoming a Panther is basically what I'm telling you. So for those of you that were super excited for that potential, doesn't look like it's happening. With that being said, let's head straight to Copper Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
All right, Tim, for Cop or Drop, first question I have for you. Brian Daboll was fired by the New York Giants yesterday, known for being quite the offensive mind. Big influence early in the career of Josh Allen. Cop or Drop, the Carolina Panthers should try and hire Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator. Cop or Drop?
I'm dropping that. 2 reasons. First, I have to dig further into Brian Daboll's career. He could just be the guy that was around Josh Allen when Josh Allen connected. I'm all for the gurus that can develop quarterbacks, and I think that's a huge role. But every once in a while, there's a player who's inevitable, right? And I'm not saying Josh Allen is or isn't. But if Josh Allen just kind of, matured and grew up and figured out the NFL and Brian Daboll happened to be there, and then he gets to trade off that for the rest of his life, I don't want to be the team giving him his fourth chance with other quarterbacks. You know what I mean? So I want to dig a bit further into Brian Daboll's history. Obviously, it didn't work great with Daniel Jones. So just I want to dig in there before I say yes. And then secondly, I think Dave Canales, are you, by the way, the question was Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
I assume that would be under Dave Canales, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't like when offensive minds lose their confidence. Ironically, we're talking a lot about confidence. Dave Canales bringing in Brian Daboll seems like I don't know what's going on here, save me, Brian. Dave Canales is an offensive mind, right? That's why he was hired. If he brings in a completely different offensive mind from a different coaching tree, it's like, well, then what's your role here? You were supposed to be running the offense. So I don't like that. If he wants to bring in a different offensive coordinator that he has a history with that could give him some fresh eyes, fine. But I don't want him. I don't think Brian Daboll is going somewhere where he's not going to be calling plays or he's not going to be heavily involved in the offense. I don't need those two cooks in the kitchen. If you're confident enough to keep Dave Canales as your head coach, the offense is his, as far as I'm concerned.
I think when Nick Sirianni, the reason why I bring that up is because remember when Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia actually turned over play calling duties to Shane Steichen. Has kept an offensive coordinator, but he was the offensive play caller initially when he was in Philadelphia, and he gave that up.
If I'm not mistaken, he was not the play caller prior to being in Philly. I think Frank Reich was calling the plays in Indy, and that's where Sirianni was. I do believe Canales, after his job play calling for Baker in Tampa, that was a big part of why they brought him in. Sirianni obviously was brought in for maybe his potential as a play caller, but it wasn't proven, right?
Yeah. But still, nonetheless, gave that up, relinquished that duty.
Correct. I'd have to look into it more, that specific scenario, just as far as the play callers that he has given that autonomy to, what their relationship was beforehand. Was it the same system? Was it that kind of deal? Because Daboll and Canales come from two different trees. They don't overlap. So it would be a big change. Kind of saying what I've believed in this whole time here, I'm now going to believe in something else. And that, to me, is the knock. But you might be right on the Sirianni thing, and obviously it's worked for him. But he's kind of talking about Sirianni. He's smashed as a hirer quite a bit. He's brought in Steichen, was it Gannon, Kellen Moore, obviously Fangio. The guys he's empowered as coordinators have been very, very good hires. Mm-hmm. So maybe his superpower is just, interviewing, and then he gets to sit back and call timeouts. It's a different beast.
Hey, it works. Got a ring to show for it.
Also helps to have Howie Roseman as your GM. That roster is loaded.
There's that as well. All right, let's switch our focus over to the ice with the Carolina Hurricanes. Obviously, we all know that the Carolina Hurricanes have dealt with a ton of injuries on the blue line, on the defense. Cop or drop that the Carolina Hurricanes will trade for a defenseman at some point this season. Cop or drop?
It's a good question. The hard part for me, and I'll make a choice because that's the game. Can somebody tell me how long a Jacob Slavin's going to be out? Right? Because
we genuinely do not know.
Because I think that would motivate me to yes or to no a trade for a blue liner, right? If I was confident he's going to be back in 2 weeks, I'm going, no, I think we've survived this long. Why wouldn't we be able to survive another 2 weeks? But at the same time, if you told me it's truly up in the air or we thought he'd be recovering better and we don't know any of this, I'm just speaking hypothetically, then yeah, I might go get a proven defenseman to solidify those ranks. So, and the other thing is, secondarily, we all kind of assumed that they were keeping this cap space and they were keeping these picks and these prospects and this ability to go make a trade for a potential second-line center. Logan Stankoven's been doing pretty good as a second-line center, so it's almost like, well, now I always joke that my wife and I call it woo money. If we're going to bet on something, we share a bank account, so it's like $20, sure, right? It doesn't. we spend each other's cash, so we call it woo money, which means go buy something frivolous. If we're getting you said this, no, you didn't. All right, before we check the texts. $20 in woo money, right? And it's just kind of go nuts, do something that you wouldn't normally spend on money. maybe the Canes have some woo money, right? They're like, hey, we had bookmarked this for Logan Stankoven's potential replacement at second line center if it didn't work out. Now it's working out. We got a little woo money. Maybe they go get a defenseman. I'm going to say drop just because I think I'm going to be optimistic on the injury front and say Walker Slavin up top pairing, Chatfield Miller, second pairing, Gostisbehere Nikishin, third pairing. You're going to trade for a guy? Where are you going to put him? And I'm just going to be optimistic that all of those guys are healthy sooner rather than later and can stay healthy for the majority of the season. I know that's a big if, but that's where I'm going to choose to live.
All right, there it is. All right, speaking of Logan Stankoven, cop or drop, Stankoven finishes with more than 25 goals this season.
All right, what is he at now?
5.
He's at 5. We're a handful of games in. It's a third of a goal per game. What was the over-under?
Over 25. So 25 and a half.
Let's see here. You know what? He's on pace for right about that, right? Like 27. I'm copping.
Okay.
I'm copping for a few reasons. Most notably, Ehlers was just added to that line. And I see that being a long-term move. I think Blake on one side, Ehlers on the other, Stankoven centering. I think that's been good enough that for the majority of the season, I think we'll see that line. And I don't see how that slows down the scoring for Stankoven, right? I think Ehlers with a more gritty center, and I know he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he likes, greasy, grimy. He likes being down there in front of the net. I think he gets a lot of opportunities there. And also, they are asking him to change positions, right? Like we heard, how many times did we hear early in the season that Stankoven was knocking on the door of Rod Brindamore to work on faceoffs, and he wanted that extra work. I'm not saying that's going to go away. I'm not saying, like 6 weeks in, he's going to go, Rod, I'm good. I know faceoffs. Thanks. I'm done. I've won the skill. But I do think as he gets more and more and more and more comfortable being a center, that'll allow him to unlock some of the things that made him such a good winger, which obviously includes trying to score the puck. So I think his scoring early on, where he's been right now, I think it's plausible that he has stretches where he's scoring at a higher rate than he is right now, and that'll get him to 27, 28. It's kind of what I'm seeing for him this year, which, by the way, would just make that contract look even better.
Oh, yeah. The thought of it even looks tremendous already.
I'd say it already looks good, but it can always be better.
All right. Let's go to the next one here. Cop or drop? Let's go to a little college basketball.
Let's do it.
I think I remember I asked you recently, do both NC State, Duke, and Carolina all make the NCAA tournament in men's basketball? Cop or drop? You said cop, absolutely. So let me add a little thing to it. Cop or drop? State, Duke, and Carolina are all 6 seeds or better in the NCAA tournament. Cop or drop?
I'm copping. I think they're the 3 best teams in the ACC. I know some will say Louisville, and I get it, but I just think they're more well-rounded. I think they're teams that have the talent. I think they're the 3 best teams in the ACC. And if the 3 best teams in the ACC aren't top 6 seeds this season, which is I think going to be an improved year for the ACC, I will be wildly surprised. So I think their wins in conference will look better. I think they all play more than good enough non-conference schedules. I think they have to play each other, which is always an exciting time for us. Yeah, I think they're all top 6 seeds. I think it's set up, both men and women, to be a great college basketball season in the Triangle. Obviously, things happen. We already saw UNC have to deal with the Seth Trimble injury. You can get pebbles in your shoe somewhere, so it's not a guarantee. But my expectation is we have 3 really good teams here in the Triangle.
All right, next one here. Cop or drop? Let's actually go back to the Carolina Panthers. Cop or drop? Xavier Legette will not be a Carolina Panther next season. Cop or drop?
I didn't even entertain this. People are thinking like a release already. Is that the idea?
Or trade for like a low pick?
I'm going to drop. I think there will be changes, but I think you talk yourself into the environmental changes sparking the player. right? If there is a change at coach or if there is a change at quarterback, it's like, well, we want to see Xavier Legette now deal with this, and this, right? Bryce Young was not good his freshman year, his rookie year, but there were enough changes that, all right, no, let's see how it goes this year. This past year, they draft Tedero McMillan. All right, let's see what he does, right? Like when something changes around a player, you want to see it. And also, you know, I mean, what pick are you going to get back for Xavier Legette right now?
A late day 3 pick, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it to let somebody else play out your lotto ticket. Do you know who actually is just a constant reminder of that pick?
What's that?
Ladd McConkey, man.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I watch him, he has like 5 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. And I just can't forget that the Panthers traded from, what was it, the 32nd pick to the 31st pick? Because was that the year Miami?
33 to 32.
Okay, I thought that might have been the year Miami didn't have a first. I knew it was the first pick of the second round to the last pick of the first round. And then, so they traded up 1 pick to draft Xavier Legette. The pick that they originally had was Keon Coleman, another wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
The next pick was Ladd McConkey. It's just like you could have picked where you were and got Ladd. You could have picked where you traded up to and got Ladd. You could have traded back a pick and got Ladd. Maybe not, because then you would have traded up with the Chargers and they probably would have taken him. My point is there's some regret on the choice because Ladd McConkey looks good, at least every time I watch him.
Yeah, he's good.
So I think he sticks around. I think Xavier sticks around is what I'm saying.
You think they should move him to the slot?
I think they should move everybody around. I don't like any players, any wide receivers specifically, having this is not the school bus. You know what I mean? Where you don't have assigned spots, but everyone has assigned spots. I want Tedero McMillan in the slot. I want him out wide. I want him to the right. I want teams surprised about where these guys line up. And until I get that, I'll be very frustrated. I think the best players move around a ton. Puka Nacua moves around a ton. CeeDee Lamb moves around a ton. I want to see all of them in every different spot.
You saw Chris Olave lining up in the slot a lot this past
He was
Sunday.
like 50% in the slot.
Yeah. Because then that's the best way to get good matchups against the Panthers defense.
Which is part of
the scheme thing.
Which is part of it. Like, even if it's about putting Tedero McMillan in the best possible matchup, Xavier Legette or Jalen Coker has to be just as versatile because you can't take Tedero McMillan from split out wide and put him in the slot without having someone going to split out wide. So, everybody has to be interchangeable. But that's neither here nor there. All right, let's cut copper drop and head to Carolina Hurricanes' first goal scorer predictions. Call in now, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326 with who you think will score the first goal of the game for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period you think they will score it. We are talking the game tonight against Washington at home, 7 o'clock puck drop. 919-860-5326. Call in now. It's been a while since we had a caller get it right, and I brag about how smart and hockey knowledgeable our listeners are, so let's pick it up. 919-860-5326. To update you on our 99.9 The Fan personality list, over the weekend, both Adam and Victoria, Adam Gold from the Adam Gold Show, Victoria, his producer, got it right on Saturday with Aho. I got it right on Sunday with Aho, all in the first. So we are in the lead. We've each hit it on the nail on the head twice this year. Everybody except for Dennis, and I don't mean to say that meanly, has at least one. So Dennis is we'll see if he can get it today. The picks for today from the 99.9 The Fan personalities. Paul Ihander from Next Up with Paul Ihander. Svetch in the first, and he says it's even strength. Max, the producer of Next Up, says Ehlers in the first, and he calls it on the power play. Adam Gold went with the captain. Stahl in the first.
I feel like he's due.
And his description was off a body part.
That makes sense.
Victoria went with Sebastian Aho in the first, not in the first 10 minutes, so a quiet opening first half of the first period before Aho opens it up for the Canes. And now we go to the callers on the phone lines. Isaiah in Wake Forest, welcome to the show. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
Hey, I'm going to go with Fetch in the first. I said it last time, and I'm just trying to will it into existence because I'd really like for him to start it off hot with a goal.
All right. Any additional details? The type of goal it is, the Advantage, shorthanded, anything like that?
Even strength, gets it off of assist from Jarvis.
All right. You are locked in. Appreciate the call, Isaiah, and good luck. That brings us to Hunter in Raleigh. Hunter, welcome to the show. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
I'm going to say it's Aho in the first period on a shorthanded goal pass from Jarvis.
Aho first shorthanded goal. There, we do have a house rule here. If you pick a shorthanded goal, you have to tell us who's in the box.
Capitals player, it'll be Ovechkin. Well, it'll be Ovechkin.
Shorthanded. You know what? All right. We'll say it's either a power play with Ovechkin in the box or shorthanded with we'll call it Svetch. Just say there's a Russian in the box. Appreciate the call. Lock it in, Hunter. Thank you very much. Aho in the first. And finally, Debbie in Apex. Debbie, you are on the line. You are ready to pick your first goal scorer prediction. Happy to have you. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Aho, but I got to go with Jarvis in the first for my mom, Linda in Roanoke.
Jarvis in the first for Linda, and obviously, we're always thinking about your mom and giving her support. Do you have any other details you want to throw on there? Is it a power play? Is it a 5-hole, anything like that?
We'll say glove side high.
All right. I like it. Debbie, thank you very much for the call. Good luck to you, and say hi to your mom for us.
I sure will.
All right.
Saw Debbie last night at Kane's Corner at the local.
Oh, awesome.
Got to say hey to her.
Nice. Got to hear from Ehlers. Dennis, we have to hear from you before we get to Twitter and we get to the YouTube comments. Who are you picking for your first goal scorer prediction?
The guy that was the best player on the ice on Sunday was Nikolai Ehlers. Kane's Corner last night, Nikolai Ehlers. Give me Nikolai Ehlers in the first period on a 3-on-2 rush. Nice drop pass from Logan Stankoven.
Drop pass from Stanky. All right. You and Max are both on Ehlers in the first.
Playing well.
I also thought you were setting us up. I thought you were going to say, who's been playing the best? Nikolai Ehlers. Nikolai Ehlers was at Kane's Corner having a good time, so of course I'm going with Martinuk. I thought you were setting us up. I was prepared for
I may have.
My first goal scorer prediction, Nikishin in the first.
Okay.
I think there's, whether you like him or not, I think there is a reverence for Russian hockey players to Alexander Ovechkin. So my prediction is Ovechkin is on the ice. I think he is there, and Nikishin wants to score right in his face.
Is he going to take his stick away again?
Maybe, like in the postseason last year.
Oh yeah.
I think it's one of those things.
This one comes from Like What I See, 1984. It says, Aho, first period, shorthanded, fetch in the box. So that's after the 10-minute mark. Also, Matty Mo Money says, Nikishin, slap shot, 5-on-5 in the first period. And Matty Mo Money says he is from the future. Willie Park says, give him Ghost in the first period. Shane Gostisbehere back in the lineup. We have a Jarvis in the first. We also have a Martinuk shorthanded goal. Doesn't necessarily state who is actually in the box either regarding that. So we need clarification.
Oh, that little house rule.
Mm-hmm.
Some from Twitter. If any of the Twitter picks are right, I will give you your love, and there's a lot in there. Can't read them all. If you want to make your pick there, they're all timestamped, so we'll know if it's early. If it's before the game, just check it out at Donnelly Sports. I'll read some of the more entertaining ones. Sebastian Aho, this comes from Florida Man. Sebastian Aho will end a double shutout 0-0 stalemate in OT.
Interesting.
I'll talk about entertainment factor. That would absolutely do it. Svetch tonight in the first to remind the Caps who ended their season last year.
I like it. I like it.
Gostisbehere from Ehlers early in the first period on a power play. Power play's been better recently. I know a lot of people aren't willing to say it out loud because they're superstitious. It's been better recently.
I pointed out yesterday, in the last 7 games, 28.6%.
That's stats talking. That's just facts.
Just saying.
That is just facts. We have some unusual ones. Robinson on a breakaway feed from Hall, 13 minutes into the first.
That I can 100% see.
That comes from Stank and Blake.
Dude's fast.
He is. Caniac Mac says Blake in the first off Tom Wilson's head. That last part is just my wishful thinking. They clarified.
If that happens, I'll send you a stack of my own personal comic book collection.
Nystrom gets his first halfway through the second. Ghost on the power play. Ghost is a very, very, very popular pick today. I think everyone's looking forward to having an offensive-minded blue liner back in the lineup for the Canes. Again, if you get it right, we'll give you your love. Hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully any of us. Hopefully the Canes score first is kind of the way to go with. I don't care which one of us gets it right. Actually, I want to get it right, so hopefully it's Nikishan. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Sorry, one of our Troy in our YouTube live chat said, if we as fans could guess this regularly, we'd all be banned from online sports betting after getting rich.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. As a unit, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Individually, it's hard to do, but we've never been blanked. Ever since we started this year where we're kind of tracking the big picture, every single time a first goal has been scored, somebody has chosen that first goal scorer.
Remember game one, I think one person said Taylor Hall.
One had Taylor Hall. There was one I think Robinson scored an opening goal, and there was one person that had done it. Like, we've been close, but we've never been shut out as a unit. So hopefully we get them all today. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, earlier today, caught up with you tell him who you hung.
Hangman Adam Page.
Hangman Adam Page.
AEW wrestling champion.
AEW champion. And that's coming up in a second. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. I'm going to say that a whole bunch of times because you all should know all of the different ways that Maynard Service Company can take care of you. Right? Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, no matter what it is, when it malfunctions in your home, man, that's a bad feeling. And guess what? I don't know if everybody else is this way. I was cold as heck this morning. I walked out of the house and, I need to get a bigger jacket. When that starts happening, you're going to start depending on your heating a little bit more. You want it to work. You want it to be efficient. You want it to be as energy efficient as possible. Maynard Service Company, right? Get your heating system checked out, even if nothing horrendous is happening, right? It's not broken. If you just think it's not working, call up Maynard Service Company. Obviously, if it is broken, call them up on the quick. They have 24/7 service all across the triangle, every day of the week, all manners of the night, 50 miles in every direction of Wake County. So it's all of Wake County and 50 miles in any direction is where Maynard Service Company operates. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. I'm going to keep saying it through the holiday season. You don't want your house acting up when you have company coming for the holidays. So get Maynard Service Company's number and save it. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or visit them online, maynardservices.com, MAYNOR services.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, Dennis and his conversation with Hangman Adam Page. AEW champion. Stick around.
This Veterans Day, 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports Radio salute those who served in our nation's armed forces.
Veterans know better than anyone else the price of freedom, for they've suffered the scars of war. We can offer them no better tribute than to protect what they have won for us.
To the men and women who stood watch at home and abroad, and for the friends and families who waited for them to come home, we say thank you for your service. Happy Veterans Day from 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Amanda here, back again with my friend Coach Pete. Coach, you talked about how companies are not giving you a retirement or a pension anymore. I've seen this firsthand with a family member. She worked for a company that they matched her 401k like up to 20%. You never see that anymore. They did so many things, and now it's like you're on your own.
Well, yeah, you are. You're on your own, and companies shifted the burden of retirement from themselves, which used to give you a pension, to you. So it's no fun to save in that 401k, but if you save now, you have a whole lot more money in the future, and what you do when you have a lump sum in the 401k is you roll it into a place which will give you a growth potential, a protecting that growth. In other words, you won't give it back, no fees, and then it will give you a lifetime income you can't outlive. If you haven't seen this, you really need to. Let's look at what you have put aside, what that could translate to for a lifetime income that will put you in control of retirement. Call now. We'll do one for you. No cost or obligation.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
It's bow time. Fumble in the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
It's the final days of Chevrolet truck season at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford. Get behind the wheel of America's favorite truck with up to $11,500 off all remaining new 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 1500s. Includes Wilkinson discount, customer cash, bonus cash, Costco member incentive, and trade assistance. See dealer for complete details. Stop by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford today or shop online anytime at wilkinsoncars.com. Together, let's drive.
Back into the drive with Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox is hitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon, being joined by Chris Lee from WRAL TV right here in Raleigh, but also a man who lives in the state of North Carolina, the man currently holding the World Heavyweight Championship for All Elite Wrestling, Hangman Adam Page. Let's actually go right into being here in the state of North Carolina. You actually get to sleep in your own bed before a big-time show with blood and guts right there in the Greensboro Coliseum. How's it feel to actually have a big event right there in your backyard?
It's great. It's incredible. Yeah, I do get to sleep in my own bed, which is, I would imagine, is an advantage. I'm going to take it as one. I've probably asked for as many comp tickets as I can ask for the calendar year. It's good. I'm glad to be here. Greensboro is a wrestling city. A lot of wrestling history here, and I'm glad to get to be a part of that. And I'm glad that it's 8 minutes from my house, and I can just mosey on down there tomorrow afternoon and get this thing rolling. Extremely fortunate, yeah.
Yeah, we've actually been on cards together in Greensboro back in the day, and it's kind of cool to see your rise from those smaller venues to down the street, really, from the Greensboro Coliseum, or First Horizon Coliseum now, down there, and now you're there with a match against Powerhouse Hobbs. I just want to know, if you look back on your wrestling career and you see where you started at Boogie's Camp and all the way up until now, like how do you kind of put all of that into words and what you've been able to accomplish?
Man, lucky. I've been just really lucky. Sure, I've put in a ton of hard work, and I've tried to let my talent shine as best I can. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that in a lot of cases I've been at the right place at the right time. I'm so fortunate for how everything has turned out, and hopefully the work that I put forth rises to the the luck that I have been granted, in life. Yeah, this has all been nuts. But it's been great, and I'm so fortunate. I'm so happy about it.
Hangman Adam Page joining us here in the Heistra Automotive Group Hotline, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Now that you have reached the heights, again, you're the title holder. Welcome back into the drive with Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox is hitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon, being joined by Chris Lee from WRAL TV right here in Raleigh, but also a man who lives in the state of North Carolina, the man currently holding the World Heavyweight Championship for All Elite Wrestling, Hangman Adam Page. Let's actually go right into being here in the state of North Carolina. You actually get to sleep in your own bed before a big-time show with blood and guts right there in the Greensboro Coliseum. How's it feel to actually have a big event right there in your backyard?
It's great. It's incredible. Yeah, I do get to sleep in my own bed, which is, I would imagine, is an advantage. I'm going to take it as one. I've probably asked for as many comp tickets as I can ask for the calendar year. It's good. I'm glad to be here. Greensboro is a wrestling city. A lot of wrestling history here, and I'm glad to get to be a part of that. And I'm glad that it's 8 minutes from my house, and I can just mosey on down there tomorrow afternoon and get this thing rolling. Extremely fortunate, yeah.
Yeah, well, we've actually been on cards together in Greensboro back in the day, and it's kind of cool to see your rise from those smaller venues to down the street, really, from the Greensboro Coliseum, or First Horizon Coliseum now, down there, and now you're there with a match against Powerhouse Hobbs. I just want to know, if you look back on your wrestling career and you see where you started at Boogie's Camp and all the way up until now, like how do you kind of put all of that into words and what you've been able to accomplish?
Man, lucky. I've been just really lucky. Sure, I've put in a ton of hard work, and I've tried to let my talent shine as best I can. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that in a lot of cases I've been at the right place at the right time. I'm so fortunate for how everything has turned out, and hopefully the work that I put forth rises to the the luck that I have been granted, in life. Yeah, this has all been nuts. But it's been great, and I'm so fortunate. I'm so happy about it.
Hangman Adam Page joining us here on the Heistra Automotive Group Hotline, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Now that you have reached the heights, again, you're the title holder for this company. Do you feel that pressure when you have that title around your waist, when you walk out to the ring every single night, like your main event, like you are the attraction for the company?
Yeah, I mean, it is pressure, and I think we all chase that pressure, though. It's what comes with the prize, and you take it for what it's worth. Certainly, it is a ton of pressure. I don't let that get to me. You can't afford to if you want to hold that championship for very long. So I don't let that get to me. But, instead of thinking of it as pressure, I like to think of it as responsibility and fortune. I have the responsibility, and I have the luck and the good fortune and the opportunity, in life to do this and do it at this level and, represent this company in the way that I do as world champion. So I take it that way.
It's awesome. Right now, the program with the Ops, you got Powerhouse Hobbs, who you'll have the match against in Greensboro. Then also Samoa Joe and Shibata. Those are three impressive wrestlers just by themselves, and those are the three people that you're currently against right now in a program. First off, going against Powerhouse Hobbs in Greensboro, Falls Count Anywhere match, for not for the title, but still it's going to be a big time match. When you think about just the big time matches that have just been there in that arena by itself, do you think about having potentially that match as one of the top matches that's ever been in that particular arena?
I don't necessarily, I guess, going into it, think of it that way. I guess maybe in the midst of it, I might feel that, and then afterwards, I can reckon with whether it's the case or not. But you're right. This is against Will Hobbs. This is Falls Count Anywhere. And for those uninitiated, Falls Count Anywhere means the match can end anywhere. It could end certainly in the ring. It could end on the top of the stage. It could end beside your seat. It could end on your seat in your lap. And it could end down the street in the parking.
I honestly, that's the one thing I appreciate about going to a wrestling show is you don't know what to expect. And I also wonder for this as Chris alluded to, and you even said it yourself, Hangman, about the wrestling city that is Greensboro and the history that is there. When you go into a match, how difficult is it to make sure that you are obviously going in a match like with Hobbs about still doing something that maybe people haven't seen before?
Right. It's challenging and it's difficult. I will say that with AEW, I feel like, it's not even month to month. It's show to show, week to week. The bar is continually raised higher and higher, and we are all, working to not just meet that bar, but to maybe raise it one step above. It is difficult. It's demanding. It's challenging. Well, that's what we're here for. That's what we enjoy. It's what we love doing, and that's what I'm going to be loving doing tomorrow. Trying to raise that bar even higher than where it's been placed in the past.
One thing I think I've always appreciated about you is you're a very thoughtful person. That's one thing I think I've told people during my times that I've been able to be around you. And one of the things that I appreciated is that you're the first major champion to ever take the championship and say, I'm the men's champion, to acknowledge the women's championship on the same level. that hasn't been done on a major level before. What is the where'd you get that from? And I just want to know, like, what was the thought process behind that?
I've always, I guess, been a little afraid to put myself out there in a way that feels like I'm trying to do something that maybe people would like because I want people to like me. Maybe that's maybe sometimes a mental barrier for me because I don't want to come across, as if I'm doing this so that people will like me. Maybe, and I try not to let that stop me. I feel like in professional wrestling, historically, it has been the case that the men's division, it's largely, separated by sex, gender. The men's division has been billed as the world champion. That is the person you're coming to the arena to see. It's the world champion. And then women's wrestling, as it gained steam historically, they've created a separate championship that is the women's world championship. And to me, that always seemed like, if you have to specify that one's for the women and the other one is the world championship, it felt like it created this hierarchy where you're telling the viewer and the audience that one of them is more important than the other. And I don't think that that's the way that our fans feel any longer, and I feel like, specifying myself as men's world champion, just in the opportunities that, I get to speak about the championship or being the champion throughout my career, I think specifying that maybe kind of, it just, asks people to stop and think, whether it's fans, the audience, or whether it's people involved in wrestling, decision makers, or the wrestlers themselves to kind of, I've tried to do that. I've always tried to institute small little changes in the world that I'm involved in to make the world, more representative of how I feel like it truly is or should be. And that's been something that I've tried to do with this.
It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox and Chris Lee sitting in for Tim right now, being joined by Hangman Adam Page, the men's world champion of All Elite Wrestling. All right, final question for Hangman Adam Page. Again, Blood and Guts coming to Greensboro tomorrow. Chris and I will be in attendance there. You'll see Hangman Adam Page taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. My final question for you is, as Chris alluded to, you used to be a high school teacher when you started out in your professional wrestling career. I don't know if a lot of people maybe that are listeners actually do know that, but how is Hangman Adam Page that we see in Blood and Guts different from the teacher in terms of the person that you may have been 10 years ago? How different is that person?
I never did grab one of my students by the back of the head and run them into a cage head first, bust them wide open.
No buckshot lariats.
I wanted to a few times. Never did that. So maybe slightly different. But I'm the same person. It's still me. A lot of times you adapt to and become the environment that you're in. When I was a school teacher, that's who I was. But it's been a while now, and I'm a violent maniac now. So
again, you can check out Blood and Guts at the Greensboro Coliseum. Again, that's tomorrow. AEWTix.com. Check it out again. First Horizon Coliseum in Greensboro, which is where it all started for Hangman Page, and as well as Chris Lee in the professional wrestling careers. Hey, man,
I'm
thanks
nothing
so much
compared
for
to
your
him, man. Like, don't even bring up my name next to him. I'm nothing.
Oh, hey, it's fine. By the way,
look, I'm gonna bring Hobbs out there to you. Okay, I'm gonna look for you.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna help you out.
That's fair. By the way,
Okay,
actually, I do
right.
have one final one. What was it like being on a card with Chris Lee?
He wasn't watching he was getting ready for his match when I was on.
Well, I couldn't help but see him in the locker room because he would stand up and he would be yelling and screaming at everybody and throwing stuff all over the place and I'm just kidding. Chris was cool. Chris was great to work with. He was a cool dude. I'm really glad to get to see him again today. I saw, I woke up and saw like the message for all the media appearances this morning. And I was hoping I'd see Chris Lee on there, and it did this morning. So that was really cool. It was really good to see you again. I hope you've been well.
Once again, that is Hangman Adam Page from AEW Wrestling, AEW champion, with Dennis Cox and Chris Lee, our colleague from over at WRAL. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something else he'd like to tell you about.
I do. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Lone Pronto. Folks, what if you could get up to $500,000 in cash out of your home equity and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR. Right now at Loan Pronto, they got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. You can pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved over $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't need an appraisal. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with the starting 5 up next.
The road to college football's national championship runs through 99.9 The Fan. The ACC, the SEC, the biggest matchups will be found here.
The snap is back. The pressure's on. Mendoza throws back to the end zone. Leaping grab. Touchdown! Wow! The Hoosiers take the lead with 36 seconds to go.
College football on The Fan is powered by Wake Med, Roofworks, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford.
Genie log, day 15,824. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $900 million now. I'll be stuck in this little lamp forever with nothing but all this stupid gold and rare gems. A gold-plated motorcycle? Sure does a lot of good when you live in a 10 by 10 magic lamp. Come find me. I'm at latitude 36.06.
Grant your own wishes. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $900 million. Must be 18 to play. Approximate jackpot odds are 1 in 291 million. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
What's better than being at the game? Table service with terrific food and drink specials and every available Canes game broadcast. That's Hockey at the Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex, an official member of the Canes Bar Network. Watch all available hockey games on our huge 16-foot video wall, plus over 30 more big screen 4K TVs inside and on our all-weather patio. Stick around for late night buy one get one half off appetizers from 9 to 11 at the Dugout, 1413 Kelly Road, Apex.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time when we have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. You're just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Be sure to grab your jacket this evening. It's been a cold day, and we'll quickly dip into the 30s tonight. It's a bit breezy on top of that. 34 the low. By Wednesday afternoon, temperatures rebound into the low 60s with plenty of sunshine.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check every Monday. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 559 points to 47,927.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is just about time for the starting five. Before we jump into that, happy Veterans Day. And thank you to all veterans out there. I often point out that, in the scheme of things, caring as much as we do about sports, that is a luxury that is not always afforded. But veterans obviously take care of so much more of the more difficult. Our military members, not just the veterans, the ones that are actively serving as well, take care of so much more of the more important things and protecting our freedoms and everything else that does allow us to, have the fun in what I call like the toy box of our lives, right? We just get to go play around and argue about sports. So thank you to everybody out there, veterans and active military members. We appreciate you all, and I'm glad we have a day to celebrate you. Now that the important stuff's been taken care of, let's get back to the toy box and jump into the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So here's the deal, everybody. Carolina Panthers have signed a quarterback to the practice squad.
Let's go.
That they've already had on the team this year already. Mike White has been signed to the Carolina Panthers practice squad. It's a depth move. I don't think it means much, but it happened today. He had to clear waivers. Now he can be put back on the practice squad. Even veterans after the trade deadline have to clear waivers. So it's a little bit of a just paper move that needed to take place, and now it has. And the Panthers obviously have Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, and now practice squad quarterback Mike Young. Has there been any other news out of Pantherland that we should be talking about today?
No, just the Mike White signing. That's really about it. Haven't heard anything else injury-wise. We'll learn more tomorrow about Trevin Wallace's shoulder injury, which is the only player. Princely Umamielen was fighting through a couple things and has been. Mitchell Evans had an ankle injury but did come back as well. So we'll have to wait and see injury-wise. But Trevin Wallace's was the only player that we saw actually leave the game on Sunday and not come back. So that's really about it.
There you go. That's the latest on the Panthers. Obviously coming off a loss that they'd like to move on from quickly.
Forget about.
And heading into another division game against the Atlanta Falcons. So not a lot of time to lick your wounds. Got to get ready to roll.
This schedule does not get easy. I think they have the second hardest remaining schedule in the NFL.
Late bye as well. Week 14 bye. So they've got a stretch before they even get to take a break. We'll see. Again, Mike White signed. That's kind of the only tangible news of the day. That is number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
The Charlotte Hornets.
We have some NBA news. We'll start with the good and then get to the weird. The good, Con Knipple, one of the top draft picks out of Duke, but obviously going to the Charlotte Hornets, playing really well. Finished, an assist short of a triple-double. The game previous to that had his first 30-burger, his first 30 spot, scored 30 points for the Charlotte Hornets. He is the first player in NBA history through 10 career games to have 150 or more points and 30 or more threes. So he's fitting in at the NBA level. It's good for the Hornets. I wouldn't say he was a slam dunk pick as far as like a super obvious pick there. I think it was the 4th overall. He was definitely in the mix, but it's good to get pretty early confirmation that it's at least not a bust. You know what I mean? Something good is happening. Now for the weird, the strange. Remember when the Dallas Mavericks traded away Luka Doncic? And the basketball world unanimously went, why? Well, the GM that did so, Nico Harrison, got fired today. Which is weird on a couple of accounts. If you are the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, or the front office, the powers that be, the board of governors, whatever you want to call it, the Dallas Mavericks, and you trust a guy enough to trade away Luka Doncic, it's kind of crazy you're going to fire him less than a year into the future. If I'm letting someone trade away Luka Doncic, I have to trust them with my life. Because I just don't let anybody do that, right? I better trust you to know what you're doing so much that you could be awful the next year, and I'd still be like, nah, he's got it. I trust him. It is one of the weirder trades in recent history. I don't know if it'll ever be explained away, but looking to the future, I mean, how many Duke players are in Dallas? Kyrie's there. Obviously, Cooper Flagg is there. Derek Lively is there. They got a whole bunch of them.
I think it's just those three. Might be one more floating around in there. Maybe a Plumlee.
There's always a Plumlee. With that being, like, their future is a little bit up in the air, right? I wouldn't say Cooper Flagg is going anywhere, but you never know, right? A GM shows up, they want their guys, and these are all Nico Harrison's guys. Apparently, Luka Doncic was not. Oh, by the way, Luka is lighting it up for the Lakers. So, can't say that's unpredictable, but not great if you're a Mavs
38 fan. Against the Hornets last night, actually.
Which is, like, I know through 5 games he was averaging 40. I don't know if he's still up that high, but it'd be wild if you score 38 and your average goes down.
Yeah, that's a bad beat.
Yeah. The NBA, it's in the swing of things. We'll go with that. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Off the back iron, Wilson comes soaring in to dunk it home.
Radford men's basketball at the North Carolina Tar Heels. Just heard a highlight there from Caleb Wilson. I anticipated using this time to talk about the impact of a Seth Trimble injury that he suffered on Sunday and the kind of plan for Carolina to deal with his absence. And then while that little highlight was playing, Dennis jumped in my headphones and said, I have an update on Trimble. So
yes,
what could the update possibly be?
So initial report by the Field of 68, since confirmed by Pat Welter of WRAL. I'll just read directly what Pat Welter had posted on X. Confirmed the Field of 68 report that a workout machine fell on Trimble, resulting in the broken forearm. Also, source tells Pat Welter Trimble had successful surgery on Monday. He attended class today and will be at the game tonight. Expected back mid to late December.
That is such a bad beat.
Yeah.
It's one thing to get hurt and bummer, you're going to miss part of your senior year. If you were, working out or you fell during a drill, it's the risks of the job. A piece of equipment falling on you. That's a tougher one to deal with, to just be cool with.
But we do have he said timeline expected back mid to late December.
Do you know what I assume probably happened Monday? Somebody from UNC had the task of bolting down every piece of equipment. It'll never happen again. That's tough. What was the timeline again? Now
mid to late December.
Mid to late December. Okay.
So you're talking about 4-6 weeks.
Yep. Which is actually, I think, the original kind of estimates from the Twitter experts who were just kind of piecing together things said 6 to 8. So
in time for ACC play.
And it gives them a weird opportunity if you want to be silver lining here. If you want to be glass half full. I think this team was going to lean on and will lean on Seth Trimble quite a bit for leadership and veteran ability and showing them the ropes of an ACC schedule, because even players like Henry Visar from Arizona, he's played in big games, but it's a little different when you're playing in the ACC for North Carolina. I think they were going to lean on Trimble quite a bit, and I still think they will, but in his absence, other guys can grow into maybe a different leadership role. From a basketball standpoint, they were obviously going to lean on him quite a bit as a perimeter defender, as a perimeter scorer, more of a slasher, dunker. He has that ability with his athleticism. So if they can thrive in his absence, then just adding, there is no trade deadline in college, but if you get a guy returning from injury kind of right before conference play, that's kind of like adding someone to the trade deadline, right? And you're going to get the infusion of the Seth Trimble trade, and it's really just him coming off injury. So starting with Radford tonight, we'll see what they are without Trimble.
I mean, Dixon, the freshman, is probably going to get a lot more playing time.
Dixon will probably play more. I think Bogovat, Luka, will be the starter that will replace him. He's been coming off the bench. And then not only that, you could look towards guys like Jaren Stevenson or guys like Caleb Wilson, and maybe they play a bit more 3, right? Maybe they get a little opportunity to be out there on the perimeter, which would be wild if it works with their length. So we'll see. We'll see what Hubert Davis chooses to do to make up for Trimble's absence. All right, what number was that? That was number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Backs down his man, up top to Foster. A jab step, and now runs a set. Foster driving left block. Kicks it out, Boozer, open. Right corner for 3. Bang!
Duke men's basketball is at Army tonight, which is a nice touch for Veterans Day. At West Point, cool experience for the players.
Coach K getting recognized before the game.
Which makes sense with his history as both player at West Point and coach at West Point and coach at Duke. That's a cool moment. Appreciate that. Take it in. Do you know what I think is cool about having that as a moment is when you get to the biggest games that you're going to play this year, right? Think ACC tournament. Think NCAA tournament. Think UNC home and away for Duke, right? When you get to the biggest games of the year, guess what else those games are? They're cool moments, right? They're experiences. They're things that you want to remember the pregame ceremony, and then you want to compartmentalize and play basketball. This is good test for that, right? You're never going to completely simulate a postseason basketball game, but like if I'm John Shire, I'm telling the team, like, take this in, right? You're going to get to see Coach K honored at West Point. That's pretty cool. It's on Veterans Day. You're playing against players that have committed to go serve our country after their college days are over. So, right, show appreciation. I played in my playing career at the Naval Academy, and it is cool. Like the right, the student section is in all their uniforms, and they do the pregame stuff. I don't even know what to call it. Ceremonies, marching. It's really cool, and you want to take all of that in. You don't want to be numb to it because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But then you do have to like flip the switch and go play. I would embrace every opportunity to practice flipping the switch and compartmentalizing. Having a hard time talking, and playing basketball. So we'll see. We'll see if Duke locks in. The maybe underlying benefit is even if Duke doesn't lock in, they're probably still talented to win the game going away anyway against a team like Army. But that's something you can coach off of, right? Like, oh, you started slow, you were caught up in this, you were distracted by that. How is it going to be different when you're playing in a championship game or when you're playing in a really cool venue in the NCAA tournament or whatever it is? You're going to want to lock in. So it's a good thing there. From a basketball perspective, this is going to sound crazy because they played, 2 games? I don't think we've seen them play near their potential yet. Oh, gosh, first 2 games, right? Sound the alarms. Sarcasm. I think part of it is that they're still just getting to know kind of themselves, right? They're still getting to know how and where each other likes the opportunity to shoot or how and where they like it in transition. And they're getting to know each other as people. I've talked a lot about John Shire's recruiting and how it's developed a handful of times over the years. I think it went from just recruiting the most talented players to understanding that you need to recruit as talented players as you could possibly recruit who also make sense meshing from a social perspective. You need to have, somebody with a little edge. You need to have somebody who's maybe comic relief. You need to have somebody who's speaks softly but carries a big stick, to quote Teddy Roosevelt, meaning somebody who's there leading by example and doesn't need to absorb all the oxygen in the room. From that perspective, I think Duke's still learning each other. So we'll see. Maybe at Army is an opportunity for them to take another step in that direction. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The one! Off the inboard, Stankoven setting it out for Blake. Hall with the loose change, and he scores! Taylor Hall gets a bounce at the side of the net. We're tied at 4 in Toronto.
Canes, Washington, tonight. 7 o'clock, it's a home game for the Canes. They are hosting the Capitals. They are on a 4-game win streak. Washington comes in, I believe, right about 500, 7-1 maybe is what we're looking at there for the Caps.
Yeah, their goal differential -2 on the season. So they're legit, like right down the middle.
Playing zero emissions hockey. Well, first of all, do you know what is obviously a story for the Carolina Hurricanes is the injuries. Shane Gostisbehere expected to be back in the lineup today. He's been activated off IR, and at morning skate, he was skating with Alexander Nikishin in the third defensive pairing and skating with the first power play unit. It is it is a full kind of I don't even want to say like return for Gostisbehere because he returned once and didn't make it to the end of the game. So it's a full hopeful return for Shane Gostisbehere expected today. Charles Alexis Legault, who's been one of their rookie defensemen who has been stepping in for all of the injured defensemen and playing well and getting better. He suffered a sliced hand, had surgery on Monday. He's expected to be out 3 to 4 weeks. There were some tendons that needed to be repaired. Did I say weeks? I meant months, 3 to 4 months. He had some tendons that needed to be repaired, so that's a tough blow for a young player. But if Chatfield can return shortly, and if Gostisbehere can return and stick around for a good while, that'll obviously the Legault absence won't sting quite as bad. The other thing that I think is interesting is they're playing on Tuesday. They don't play again until Friday. For a team that is getting healthier and has been playing guys a ton of minutes, to go back-to-back Saturday, Sunday. They played Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. To get off till Friday is a nice little it's not the biggest break in the world, but it's something, right? You can get off your feet for a little bit, get the training, get the recovery that you need. It's a big deal. So getting through this one without thinking of it as getting through this one is a good step for the Canes.
And like you said, Friday, then Saturday, so back-to-back Friday, Saturday, but all these games are at home.
That's nice, too. Sleep in your own bed.
It's like sleep in your own bed. Especially after that long road trip. Then they're back for 2 games and had to go on the road again.
And it's Washington. That game's always going to come with a certain extra energy.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how good or not good or fantastic they are, there's always going to be a little extra sauce in that one. Dennis, I have to ask. We've been doing this on game days.
Okay.
I need an if-then statement. If the Carolina Hurricanes blank, then they'll beat Washington. And I believe they're a 1.5 favorite in this one, so I'm going to press you on covering. They have to win by 2. So if blank happens, then the Canes beat Washington by at least 2.
If the line of Stahl, Martinook, Carrier scores a goal, they win by 2 tonight.
Okay, just
because that line is going to be obviously tasked, has always been shutting down the opposing team's top line. But if they score, that means that top line for Washington is stuck in their defensive end, which means Carolina is rolling with their forecheck.
And I do think, just in big picture stuff, I think that line gets sold short on their scoring ability.
Oh yeah,
they can. A lot of times they're like you said, they're asked to shut down the opposing team's best scoring line, so their energy is focused elsewhere. We've seen Martinook go on heaters. Obviously, Jordan Stahl can score. We saw him earlier this season score 2 in the first, I think it was 3 minutes of a game. Like they can score. Carrier obviously just back from injury, so we'll see what kind of a game he kind of settles into consistently. But I think that line is underrated for their scoring ability, potentially just because it's not what they're asked to do. I always kind of put this one out there. If Ovechkin doesn't score, I think Washington just their mojo is all kinds of off. So I'll say if Ovechkin doesn't score, the Canes win by 2. Not saying they won't win if he doesn't, but I think that's just a good indicator on what the Caps are always trying to do, and he fires away. So, if he doesn't score, that probably means you're making his job difficult and hopefully clearing the puck at a high rate. As far as other injuries go, Chatfield still not expected back. Slavin still not expected back. But the forwards, you mentioned Carrier, Robinson. With both of them back, the forwards are pretty much intact, which is dangerous to say out loud, right? If you have to, go outside, spin around 3 times and spit, throw some salt over your shoulder, whatever your superstitions are. But I do expect in that case the forwards to play well and help out their blue line and do all of those things. I will also say this: my first goal scorer prediction was Alexander Nikishin. I also expect an aggressive Andrei Svechnikov. Partially because Ovechkin's on the other side, partially because it's Washington and Ovechkin and Svech and the Capitals. There's a history there, and Svech is playing well. So I hope we see the good version of Svech that we've seen recently tonight. I think that would go a long way.
Yeah, Svech is already up to 7 points. I think it was the first 8 games he didn't have a point at all,
and I
let alone a penalty.
And like Aho got what Aho normally does for other people from Svech, just put it on a platter. Put it in the back of the net, and you get the goal, even though, Svech probably deserves like 80% of the credit. That's – I used to say as a quarterback, when we run the ball down to the 1 yard line, then we call the old, play action dump off and I get the touchdown pass, you got to go over to the offensive line and say, that one's 3/4 yours. I think that should happen in hockey quite a bit. And we saw it. It was Blake, I think. Blake got the dump off from Taylor Hall a couple games ago. I think it was Blake. It was a little backhand pass from Taylor Hall. It was a great pass. But either way, the goal scorer, and it's such a good play by the passer that I don't even remember who the goal scorer is. That should tell you everything you need to know about the pass. The goal scorer, as they showed him celebrating, just it looked like a hunting dog that had seen something, was just looking for Taylor Hall the whole time everybody was celebrating them scoring a goal. So they should point it at Taylor Hall. I think Svetch, whether he scores or sets somebody up like Aho, if he has a good game, I think that goes a long way for the Carolina Hurricanes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Right now, we need some numbers game contestants. The numbers game prize for today is a pair of tickets to see Train with Bare Naked Ladies and Matt Nathanson at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 16th. So if you want to play the numbers game, if you want to win the tickets, you have to call in now. 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. Call in now. You can play the numbers game and potentially win yourself some tickets to see Train with Bare Naked Ladies, as well as Matt Nathanson. Numbers game coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, Bryce, shame on me. It'll take a Herculean effort to get Panthers fans to believe you're the guy that can help them go next level. When you can't run and that's your team identity, you gotta pass. When you can't pass, what are you? No late season stat padding is gonna change opinions a second time.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
The Black Friday sales event is on at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Right now, you could get 0% financing for 60 months on a new 2026 Ram 1500. Or even better, 0% for 72 months on a new 2025 Ram 1500. Or take advantage of 20% off any new Ram 1500 in stock. See dealer for details. In other words, it is time to get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. During hockey season, I'm bouncing from coast to coast like a puck on ice. But when I'm back in town, I always head to Buffalo Brothers for the best wings on the planet. And check this out. Now they have a new flavor, chili lime. You can't beat the great specials at all 5 Triangle locations, like half-price pizzas, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. You can dine in or carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You are in luck. We had some callers drop. It's also a holiday with Veterans Day, so maybe somebody got on the line and didn't realize their commute was over. Whatever the reason is, we have a couple open phone lines. So if you want to win some train tickets, call in now. 919-860-5326. We need a couple of contestants for the numbers game. 919-860-5326.
By the way, when we say train tickets, we're talking about the band. Not talking about, hey, let's go hop on the Piedmont down there to Charlotte.
Train with Bare Naked Ladies, if you take it literally, could take on a whole different...
It really could, actually.
No, we have
that's the case.
Concert tickets to see Train the band with Bare Naked Ladies, the band, and Matt Nathanson to give away here for the numbers game. 919-860-5326. Call in now and we can jump in. We have one on the line, and we'll see if Dennis grabs the phone here for somebody else. I believe we have a second as well. Sometimes it happens. Callers drop. They get on the line. We say they have to wait a minute. They don't have a minute, whatever it is. And sometimes on these holidays when maybe not everybody is in the office commuting at the same time, it gets confusing for you. Either way, we have our contestants now. It is Justin in Raleigh and Chris, who is on the way to the Canes game. They will battle it out in jersey number knowledge to see who gets the tickets to see the band train with Bare Naked Ladies and Matt Nathanson. As always, we'll bring them both on, ask them the same question. That person will get to go first. Justin in Raleigh, are you there? Can you hear me?
I am.
All right, we just had a AEW champion on the show. Dennis was chatting with him. So we'll go with this. Your favorite wrestler of all time?
Ooh, kind of basic, but John Cena, honestly. The stuff he's done after wrestling, too, has been awesome. Peacemaker, the last season was crazy, so we'll go with John Cena.
All right, Dennis.
Can't see him either.
Dennis, any follow-ups you need for your judging? Nope. All right,
None.
Justin, you are locked in. We'll go to Chris, who's on the way to the Canes game. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, same question to you. We just had a AEW champion on the show, so who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Got to be the bull.
Oh, you broke up there. Hopefully you can get a clearer connection and say it again. Did we lose Chris, who's on the way to the Canes game? Oh, there you are, Chris. We got you back. Go ahead and say your wrestler one more time. We lost you for a second.
The Rock, the Brahma Bull.
The Rock. Dennis, any follow-ups? All right.
None whatsoever.
Appreciate it, Justin. Appreciate it, Chris. And we now go to our judge. Dennis, is it John Cena or The Rock?
This one's very tough. I'm probably going to show my age on this one, but I got to go with Chris. I got to go with the Brahma Bull, The Rock himself, because let's be honest, if it wasn't for The Rock, there would be no John Cena doing what he's doing post-wrestling. I'm just saying. Also, The Rock was actually part of a very underrated faction of all time, the Nation of Domination. Just saying.
Okay. For those reasons, and I'm assuming some others, the first opportunity goes to Chris, who's on the way to the Canes game. Chris, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. The categories you get to choose from are NFL players with mid-November birthdays, NFL players who were Josh Dobbs teammates at some point or another, NBA players who are all from Europe, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
NBA players with mid-November birthdays.
All right. There's a upset there with you on your way to the Canes game. I thought for sure we were going to get a Canes category, but you chose NBA. What was that?
I'm a Capitals fan.
Oh. Yeah, good thing you didn't say that before Dennis got to choose. We'll play it straight up, though. You have your NBA category, all European players. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, let's go.
All right, your time will start and you hear the horn. Franz Wagner, Orlando Magic.
43.
Incorrect. Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento Kings.
10.
Correct. Isaiah Hartenstein, Oklahoma City Thunder.
77.
Incorrect. Franz Wagner, Orlando Magic.
17.
Incorrect. Isaiah Hartenstein, Oklahoma City Thunder.
43.
Incorrect. Franz Wagner, Orlando Magic.
20.
Incorrect. Isaiah Hartenstein, Oklahoma City Thunder.
70.
It was not 70. But you did get one. You got Domantas Sabonis, which avoided the shutout. You were right. You said 77. We were looking for double numbers. We were just looking for other double numbers. Wagner is 22 with the Magic. Hartenstein is 55 with the Magic. And in addition to 10 for Domantas Sabonis, we would have accepted 11. So those were the options. You did get one. We'll see if it's enough. Go ahead and stand on the line.
10-4.
All right, that brings us to Justin in Raleigh. Justin, are you there?
I am.
Canes fans everywhere are rooting for you. No pressure. I'll give you the categories you can choose from. NFL, Josh Dobbs teammates throughout the years. NFL mid-November birthdays, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
I'll do the NFL mid-November.
All right, these are all players with mid-November birthdays. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. You do need at least two for the victory. Any questions before we get started?
No, let's do it.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Ladd McConkey, Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh, 13.
Incorrect. Isaac Bruce, St. Louis Rams.
21.
Incorrect. Ladd McConkey, Los Angeles Chargers.
Pass.
Jeff Wilson, Miami Dolphins.
5.
Incorrect. Isaac Bruce, St. Louis Rams.
13.
Incorrect. Ladd McConkey, Los Angeles Chargers.
12.
Incorrect. Jeff Wilson, Miami Dolphins.
5.
Incorrect.
4.
Isaac Bruce, St. Louis Rams.
3.
Incorrect. Is Isaac Bruce a little before your time?
A little bit, yeah. I was also really hoping for NBA players. NFL and NHL are not my bag.
So it's Dennis's fault for choosing The Rock over John Cena.
Hey, I didn't choose John Cena. He chose John Cena.
No, you didn't choose John Cena.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
That is true. That's my bad.
All right, Justin, we appreciate you, but unfortunately that's not enough for the win, so hopefully you had some fun. And that means Chris, who's on the way to the Canes game.
Let's go.
You're the winner.
The Brahma Bull, baby.
I will say, I don't know a ton about wrestling. I don't follow all the storylines. It's kind of a good heel turn to just say you're a fan of the other team right before you win. It just there's some writing there, although none of this is scripted. It just worked out that way.
Hey, I'm rapping. I'm having a great day. It's Veterans Day. I'm a vet. I'm a Marine.
Thank you for your service.
So I've had 2 great days, man. So I'm enjoying life.
All right, Chris. Well, you brought us back to your side by letting us know you're a veteran. So we'll allow the Caps fandom for today. We appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for your service. Congratulations on the win, and stay on the line. Dennis will make sure you get your prize. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Well, now I can't boo the guy.
I was going to say, now it's just completely turned on a dime there. On Veterans Day, we'll put aside our
Chris
differences for a
us,
day.
man.
I couldn't predict the turns at any point in time. He calls up. It says he's on the way to the Canes game. I'm like, all right, Canes. He hits us with the Caps. All right, now we're booing you. He wins. All right, the heel turn. He says he's the vet, and he's having a good day. All of a sudden, we're back on his side. It's like watching a tennis match here. But that does lead us into it is Veterans Day, and thank you for your service to all veterans out there and active military members. We obviously are appreciative for all the sacrifices you've made throughout your career and your decisions and everything else. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of the Canes game tonight, though, he's on the way to the Canes game. You can hear that right here on 99.9 The Fan. If you need to get yourself ready, you can go check out the Nikolai Ehlers conversation from Canes Corner last night. You can find that on our app, 99.9 The Fan. You can find it on our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Adam Gold with Stormwatch, a half hour before puck drop right here on 99.9 The Fan. It's all there to make sure you are ready for when pucks get dropped at 7 o'clock. Canes taking on Washington. Also, I want to make sure you're all ready for the holidays. And with that comes taking down the Maynard Service Company number. Maynard Service Company, around the holidays, you're thinking family. When I think of Maynard Service Company, I think of family in a bunch of different ways. When you talk with their owner, Brett, who I've had the opportunity to hang out with, they treat it like a family, right? They want to take care of their employees. They want to make sure that they are properly compensated, properly treated, that they have the opportunity for advancement. And what that leads to is highly trained, very happy, great customer-friendly workforce, right? The technicians that come to your house, they love their job because Maynard Service Company is that kind of company. They treat them like family, and they'll treat their clients like family. That's you. Now, the other side of it that makes me think about Maynard Service Company and family is this holiday season, when you have family coming to town and you have everyone in your house, and you've got right, the aunts, the uncles, everybody's asleep. You got the grandparents, you got the grandkids, maybe they're in sleeping bags on the living room floor. You got the whole like Norman Rockwell Americana painting of everybody together. You want to make sure your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical doesn't fail you, right? You don't want those hilarious moments where everybody had to wear their winter coats inside because the heating broke around the holidays. So call up Maynard Service Company and get your heating system some maintenance, a little service done. but definitely take down their number. So if that situation happens, the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, all across the triangle service can show up and make it. Yeah, remember that time the heating went out for a couple of hours? That heating went out, but we were good by that night. That's a different story than when we all had to sleep in our long johns. So give them a call, 919-361-0993, 919-361-0993 for Manor Service Company, or visit them online, manorservices.com. That's MAYNOR services.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, hearing from many of you, there's been a frenzy of feedback in our YouTube comments, so we'll bring some of those comments to life with a feedback frenzy next.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending and Cary. With the Federal Reserve cutting rates, the most frequent question we get is, do I wait for rates to go lower, or should I take the savings and just act now? At Miller Lending, we toss all the timing questions aside with our popular no-cost program. With no fees charged or added to your loan amount, you simply close on today's rates and refinance again as rates fall. With many economists predicting rates in the 5s next year, why pay upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 in closing costs just to get a rate you may get for no cost next spring? Imagine the freedom to use that money for more important things than reducing your payment by the extra $50. Recently, we've noticed a trend of related party transactions as some of the nation's largest lenders have bought real estate or mortgage lead sites, driving closing costs even higher. Please don't throw away all that cash or equity when all you wanted was a lower payment. Call Miller Lending and see why a no-cost loan is the right loan for you. 919-447-3377, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Your home shelters your dreams and protects your memories. At Baker Home Exteriors, we understand this deeply. It's why we've dedicated ourselves to caring for homes like yours. As part of the Baker Roofing family, we bring a century of expertise to every project, from roofing and siding to windows and decks. We don't just upgrade homes, we help protect the life you've built within them. Because your home is where our heart is. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and start your home's next chapter.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You want to explain this one, Dennis?
Do I have to?
I think there might be
It's
some.
early. This is John Cena's Thugonomics entrance music. His best.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that. He's come a long way. He's now in
This is him actually doing
in
it,
like
by the way.
rom-com family movies now.
Yeah, I know. And Peacemaker, which is not for kids.
I haven't seen it.
It's hilarious.
Maybe I should. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's a
Can't believe you didn't know this.
You can't believe you're surprised I wouldn't know that. Never got into the wrestling thing. I don't know what it is about it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm sure we'll get some feedback on that.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, exactly. So let's jump right into a feedback frenzy. All right, Dennis, what are they telling us online?
We had a conversation earlier about the Carolina Panthers. And, well, let's just say it seems like there's still a disconnect, I guess you could say, between Dave Canales and Bryce Young, the head coach and the quarterback. This one actually comes from Richie Grapes. You know, it's hard to say their first name, but the last name is Grapes. So Richie Grapes says, longtime listener and a devoted fan of the show.
Well, thank you for listening.
I respectfully disagree with the notion that there is a lack of trust between Dave Canales and Bryce Young. Look back at Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski, Jared Goff and Jeff Fisher, Robert Griffin III and Mike Shanahan, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Among these quarterbacks and head coach relationships, a consistent theme is that none of these pairings endure beyond a single season. If genuine distrust existed between Dave Canales and Bryce Young, then one of them would not still be associated with the organization. Unfortunately, it appears that Canales and Young may extend into a third season into 2026. The significant investment made by the Panthers precludes the option of parting ways with Bryce Young. Currently, Young has no trade value. While the organization does not have a commitment to paying Bryce Young, it remains dedicated to employing every available measure to enhance his performance. Just my opinion.
The one thing I would say is a lot of those, and I don't, like off the top of my head, I can't remember every example you used of quarterback and coach that aren't.
He said Baker Mayfield and Stefanski, RG3 and Shanahan, Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, Jared Goff, Jeff Fisher.
The thing that all those pairings have that this one doesn't is they had somebody willing to rock the boat. Right? Like Sean Payton is going to say what he feels. RG3 was talking to everybody. Baker Mayfield is brash. Kevin Stefanski isn't afraid of a controversy as well. Jeff Fisher, by that point in his career, had been through everything and was very confident in kind of who he is and wasn't going to mince words. I think there's Dave Canales and Bryce Young, I think if you would have asked them last offseason, he's our guy, and they would go with it even if they were thinking differently because they're people pleasers. They're say the right thing people. Even if their heart of hearts may have told them otherwise, that their actions are now showing more so than their words ever did.
I know RG3 and Shanahan at least had a couple seasons. Same thing with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. I think at least had 2 seasons together. I think.
I don't think.
Maybe Russell Wilson was only 1 year.
I think Russell Wilson was only 1. The RG3 situation is, to me, that's its own beast. There were injury decisions, whole bunch of stuff going on there. But every situation is different, I guess would be the way to respond to that.
All right, let's actually going along the same conversation.
All right.
I'm a devoted listener. This one comes from Jonathan Warner. I'm a devoted listener, and I have to say I disagree wholeheartedly that Bryce's game at Green Bay versus this last week against the Saints were similar just because of the stats. The things he did with his feet and Green Bay and also not having 2 turnovers makes it a very big difference of 2 games.
So he had turnovers in both games, right?
Yeah, he had 1 interception against Green Bay, and he had 2 turnovers against the Saints.
He had 1 that counted against the Saints.
No, he technically had 2 because the fumble was counted against him.
I don't count that against him at all. That's Jimmy Horn's.
Yeah.
That's a statistic that I don't count against him at all. That's Jimmy Horn not knowing how to take a handoff.
Yeah. I don't put it against him either, but it is what it is, which I guess makes up for the 1 that he threw earlier, I guess. It all balances itself out.
That's what I talk about, though, when I talk about things coming out in the wash. That's like a very immediate answer. I think he played similarly. The timing of it was different, right? Because the turnover was early versus the turnover being late, whatever it is. But I have a really hard time, and I've gotten into a bunch of debates about Bryce, both defending him. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle because I've defended him in long arguments, and I've also been the one more negative in long arguments. It's really hard when you get into just like pure subjective thoughts, right? Because then it's like, all right, that's what you think. I can't tell you you're wrong on what you think, and you can't tell me I'm wrong on what I think. It's you get to that real like agree to disagree territory. I think he played similarly. The difference is the team was good enough to win anyway against the Packers or a few other teams, and they weren't good enough to win anyway against the Saints. And without that, it just seems much different.
All right, along the same lines, we had a conversation yesterday about Bryce Young and how the Panthers still need more from Bryce. This one comes from Joaquin Diaz. Joaquin says, yeah, he's not doing great right now, referring to Bryce Young, but we've seen him throw deep balls at Alabama and the second half of last season. One thing I've noticed is Dave wants the ball out in like 2.55 seconds or less or something like that. But last season, when Bryce had multiple touchdowns and big-time throws, he had somewhere around 2.9 seconds. Again, I think he needs to be better, but it's on the coaching and play calls.
So I'm going to use an analogy here. I took a class in college that was all on, we had to take it as athletes. It was a 1-credit class, and it was called professional development. And it was all about making your resume, how to interview. We learned how to like network at happy hours and all this kind of stuff. And when we went over our resume, they said there's a 3-year rule for high school and college things. Meaning if your resume in college, you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior, you can still have like, class treasurer from high school. But once you're 3 years out of high school, got to take it off. College, right? If you are the leader of the Habitat for Humanity Club on campus, you get 3 years out of college where you can still have that on your resume. And then eventually it's like the 3 years since college should be what's on your resume, your professional experience. How long are we going to keep saying we've seen him do it at Alabama?
That's a good point.
He's got 2.5 years in the NFL. We know we can do it because we saw him at Alabama, and we saw him in the last 3 games of last year. He's been in the NFL for 2.5 years. And we're saying, he had that 4-game stretch at the end of his second year. Could have just caught a heater, right? Could have just, he was in the zone for a month, and we're going to decide that's how he should play rather than every other game we've seen him play in. It's tough. And I'm not trying to be overly negative there, but at a certain point, it's like, there's a lot of busts out there that had good games or had good 3-game stretches, and eventually you got to come to grips.
All right, this one, also a couple of people in the comments said, happy to see the Bryceometer back.
Hey.
It was good to see you.
We might bring it back
earlier. If you missed that, it's already on our YouTube page, so make sure you go check that out. This one actually comes from Antonio Thomas. Antonio Thomas says, regarding the Carolina Panthers, like a personnel thing real quick. Horn has the speed to scare a defense, but Coach Canales only wants to use him in jet sweeps.
That would be a part of it. If you have a guy who you want to utilize his ability, which is speed, and you are unwilling to let your quarterback throw it deep, how would you use speed, right? It's got to be jet sweeps or crossing routes. You got to work horizontally because you're not comfortable working vertically. I think the Jimmy Horn buzz is interesting. He doesn't have a ton of usage, so it's small sample size, but he's got some plays. So I'm not going to, look too far into the Jimmy Horn stuff, but it would be like overusing jet sweeps and crossing routes and reverses would be one way to say we got a guy with speed we want to use, but we don't trust anybody to go deep.
All right, earlier we had a conversation about the Carolina Hurricanes, which, by the way, puck drop in just over an hour. Storm watch with Adam Gold, about 35 minutes away. Oh, this one comes from Rosario. We mentioned about the injury with Charles Alexis ago, the cut that he had on his hand from the skate blade. He had tendons fixed in his hand.
Extensor tendons?
Yes, extensor tendons.
Don't know what that means.
It's the tendons that connect from like the muscles in your forearm to like the bones.
Okay.
So those. But yeah. So you can use your fingers.
Yeah.
So he's out 3 to 4 months. But this one comes from Rosario. Hopefully Legault, he heals right. The kid's got a bright future, and it really sucks for him to miss him out for most of the season.
I saw Canes Prospects on Twitter said that they had just 2 days before the injury updated his height and weight from 6'3", 207 to 6'4", 220. And it's like, all right, he's coming into his own. He's filling out. He's ready to play. He gets his first point. He gets his first goal. It's all right. Something's coming, and then the injury hits. It's a really tough time. You hope he stays optimistic, right? Those long days of rehab are not fun for anybody. All right, everybody else going on a road trip, I'll be here in the training room. You guys have fun. Like, that's brutal. But he's got a long career ahead of him. Long career, and you hope he can lock in. That is all to say. Legault will not be playing tonight against the Caps, but we are expecting Shane Gostisbehere back in the lineup. So the blue liners are literally the defensemen for the Canes. It's like as one returns, one goes back into the training room. They like high five in passing, one in, one out.
That's tagging in and out.
Yeah, a little tag team action. Legault needs a breather. He's tagging in Gostisbehere, who is expected to be on the first-team power play unit. Overdrive up next, where we'll talk Panthers and Canes. Then Stormwatch at 6:30 with Adam Gold to get you ready for the Canes-Caps. Canes-Caps, puck drop at 7 o'clock, right here on 99.9 The Fan, as well as on the 99.9 The Fan app. Download that, Google Play, App Store. Give us the 5-star ratings that we would very much appreciate, and enjoy the game. We'll be back to break it down tomorrow. Happy Veterans Day to all veterans out there. Thank you. And like I said, we'll see you tomorrow.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Washington.
Off the end board, Stanko sending it out for Blake. Oh, with the loose change, and he scores!
Stormwatch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Stanko scores! Oh, that's a Hall of Fame goal! What a setup and a monster for number 22. It's 5-4.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime, and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know, my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Holiday scratch-offs, what a gift. It lets them dream just for a bit. Ski trip, cruise ship, sports car, pristine yard, courtside seats, fancy meats. Holiday scratch-offs can't be beat.
Give the gift of what if from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.19 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan. You know, I love Thanksgiving, and there's no better place to take care of that meal than with my friends at the Butcher's Market. My favorite location knows me as soon as I walk in. I head on in there, check out that fresh meat case, then roll to the refrigerator case for some homemade pasta salad and mashed potatoes. Family dinner, Thanksgiving dinner done in one stop. The Butcher's Market, with 5 convenient Triangle locations. Trust them to make your Thanksgiving meal a winner. Do me a favor, check them out at thebutchersmarkets.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Richie Law is on top of it. Go to RichieLaw.com.
That's RichieLaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader. It's 6 o'clock. Time to shift into overdrive. All highlights, no filler. As we run it back from the drive with Tim Donnelly.
And the reason why we're bringing back the Bryceometer, it's all about confidence. And it's a conversation that we haven't revisited in a while, but we're going to here. And right now, the confidence level in Bryce, not high, right? It is just barely above rock bottom. If you're looking, it's like a odometer looking scale with the little red arrow pointing almost to like where empty would be on a gas gauge on the dashboard of your car,
or 0 miles per hour.
Yeah, exactly. With the all the way down where it would normally say empty, it says is cam available, and it's knocking on the door of that.
Mm-hmm. Right in between. No way he's 5'10".
Yeah, no way he's 5'10". If it went all the way to the right, it would have like all the way full. It would have been Gonna Be Forever Young. There's Bryce of America Stadium. There's That's My Quarterback, and all the way on down. So it's something we did early on in his career, and the reason we did it is because when you do have a young quarterback, a rookie quarterback, it fluctuates aggressively. Right? Good game, everybody, they're the best in the world. Bad game, everybody, they stink. It flies back and forth. You would think by year 3 that all this would be settled. But the same thing is happening, right? I'm getting in arguments on both sides. They're coming from all directions, right? After the win against Green Bay, I was critical of some things Bryce Young did. And guess what happens? Everybody's screaming at me about he's a winner. Everybody's screaming at me about he's clutch and it's this and it's that. And then he plays nearly identical football, by the way, in a loss to the Saints. And guess what? Now the world is crashing and everybody hates Bryce. And I'm just simply, throwing a few things out there that, the confidence from the coaching staff towards the player isn't super obvious, and that's going to make it difficult. And they need to do certain things to give their offense a fighting chance, whether they believe in their quarterback or not. And I'm getting trashed the other way about how it's Bryce's fault and all of this. So here's what I want to be clear about the confidence situation. The Bryceometer confidence level that we used to do and have up here as a spot start, it's getting the call up to the bigs for one start, is about like our confidence in Bryce. How confident are we in the player?